The strategic plan has been a journey for our organization, and indeed it would not have been possible without all of you as our partners, as stakeholders that we engage with, because we've had to do external engagements, we've had to do the necessary public participation, we've had your views, we've been able to consider them, and therefore this day would not have been possible without all of you. I recognize the coming of our chair, Ipoa chair, Karibu Sana, you're welcome. So I'm saying that we are thanking all of you because today has been possible because of all of you. Again, I thank you because it is one thing to invite guests. It is another whether or not they'll turn up. So indeed, we thank you for honoring our invite. Thank you for joining us today. And indeed, together, as we launch this strategic plan, it is something we will still call upon all of you because it's a journey we have to implement between now, the 2025, through to 2030. So at some point or other, a number of times we'll be calling upon you in many engagements because we cannot work alone. So we shall proceed accordingly to invite you, and always we'll work together. So right about now, I wish for us to start the program. It is exactly 10:05 hours. Again, we are sorry for starting late, but we are together. We'll proceed and keep time for the rest of what is to come. So at this point, I wish to call upon the entertainment band, which is the administration police band. As I've told you, in the spirit of collaboration, they collaborate with us, and they are here to assist us with what they'll be doing today. So I'll be calling upon them to lead us in the national anthem, and at that point, I'll request all of us to be upstanding for the national anthem. And while you do that, our regional heads, again, a polite reminder, and those responsible at the headquarters, kindly alert our staff to join into the link so that they're able to follow as we start together with them, so that we launch this as an entire Ipoa family, so that everybody is at par and on the same page. Band Karibuni, could we kindly be upstanding for the national anthem? I humbly request we continue to be upstanding for the opening prayer. We must thank God for this day. It is an amazing day. And at this point, I'll call upon Lucy for a Christian prayer and Jibril for an Islamic prayer. Lucy and Jibril, kindly come along very fast. Thank you. Jibril, kindly follow. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Let us bow down for a word of prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for this beautiful day. We pray that you guide and bless our deliberations and all activities for the day. as we launch the Ipoa strategic plan for the period 2025-2030. May you help us to implement the plan successfully in collaboration with all the stakeholders, in line with our constitutional mandate, and for the service to all. We pray this, believing and trusting in your holy name. Amen.
Jibril? Okay.
I'll pray in Arabic. Let's pray. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Amen. Thank you. You can have your seats. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. I see our guests are still coming in. Karibuni sana. So this day, as we've said, we talk about matters oversight, we talk about matters accountability, we talk about matters public trust. And therefore, as Ipoa, it is important to have strategies, it is important to have plans on how to go about it, because we are mandated by law to do that. And therefore, that's why strategic plan is one of that critical tool that will be leading us to see us through that journey. The journey of professionalizing police, the journey of having them accountable, and the journey of having important collaborations, because at the end of the day, it's for the good of the entire country, it's for the good of all of us. And that is why this strategic plan is quite important for us. We are launching it today. Na naweza kusema pia kwa Kiswahili kwamba siku ya leo tunataka weza kufanya nini? Kulaunch ni kufanya nini? Tunaweza kuzindua mpango mkakati kwa wenye hawakujua. Mpango mkakati wetu ambaye itaweza kukua katika mpangilio kwa muda wa mwaka wa 2025 hadi 2030, ambapo tumesema 2030 hiyo wakati ikiisha itakuwa pia muhimu kwa sababu ya vitu kama Vision 2030 pia itakuwa inatufikisha wakati huo. Kwa hivyo mpangilio mkakati ni muhimu, ndio imetuleta hapa leo na tumeshukuru kwamba nyote mko hapa. Kwa hivyo bila kupoteza wakati zaidi, ningependa kuenda kwa programu yetu ambayo kwa sasa tungetaka kuanza na opening remarks. We'll be starting with the opening remarks. And therefore in doing so, we will be recognizing those who have joined us. We have seen quite a number of organizations who have come, and we thank you because it is in the spirit of collaboration and teamwork together with our other organizations. And therefore at this point, the one who will be taking us through to call those who will be giving opening remarks is none other than, I think I would dare say, he might be the tallest guy in the room. Yeah? Somebody who has served in the public service for a while, 28 years plus. Somebody who has previously, before now being the CEO, worked as the director investigation. Somebody who has worked as the executive director at the anti-counterfeit agency. Somebody who has also played critical roles in the security intervention and anti-poaching effort in KWS. Let us welcome none other than Elena Halake. Si tumpatie makofi. Hiyo jatosha. Tufanye ile ya nyayo. 1, 2, 3. Karibu. Moja. Fungua. Funga. Thank you very much, CEO.
Asante. The Honorable MP, Peter Kaluma, who is representing the chair of the National Assembly Committee on Administration and Internal Security, the acting High Commissioner from the Embassy of United Kingdom,
the chair, Ipoa, together with the commissioners present, the chair, National Police Service Commission, the PS, Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs, all invited guests, all protocols observed, our esteemed partners who are in the house, colleagues from Ipoa, our partners from state and non-state actors who are within. Good morning. Good morning again. My name is Elema Halake. I am the CEO, Ipoa. I want to appreciate from onset that you have been able to make it for this event, this very important event. In a very special way, I want to recognize the chair and the commissioners present for making this day to happen, because this is indeed a very special day for Ipoa and for the leadership of Ipoa. And the reason is this is actually unveiling of the new vision and the new direction of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. I don't want to say much more, because I know that it's a day which the chair will be able to speak to very extensively. Mine is just to recognize all of you and appreciate for your coming, for creating the time to come. I will not go through the entire list of the people who have come because that may take a bit of time, but just to say that for Ipoa, and for Ipoa to do the work it is mandated to do, we cannot be able to do it alone, and that is the reason why we have invited all of you here, state, non-state actors, our partners, civil society organization, the members of parliament here, led by Honorable Kaluma, and all of us. So it's a new beginning, it's a new chapter we are turning over in Ipoa, and we would wish to welcome you to be part of that journey, part of that new chapter we are turning over for Ipoa. Having said that, allow me now to invite the chair of Independent Policing Oversight Authority, Hamed Isaac Hassan, who will be making the official opening remarks, and thereafter will be able to take up the program. Now that the MC challenged me in a big way, in the way she invited me, I don't know which one we will use, but I want us to put our hands together for the chairman. Kindly join me in welcoming him. Karibuni sana. Asante sana. Karibu, Chair.
Bismillah. Thank you very much, Bwana CEO. It is very unfortunate that the tallest man in the Ipoa and the shortest man in Ipoa are talking to you at the same time. But I wanted to first and foremost thank all of you who have been who have invited to come and join us for this important occasion for Ipoa. I want to tell you that we thank you and we appreciate your finding time to come. We don't take you or your time for granted, and we take note of the presence of those who have come in person, being invited, and those who have sent apologies. I have just been informed before I walked in here that the Chief Justice was notified of the death of one of the Court of Appeal judges, Justice Fred Ocheng, and I wanted to request that we stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of this celebrated jurist. Thank you. We hope that our chief guest, the Chief Justice, will join us despite this very sad news. But if not, I'm sure she will make arrangements to get her speech read. So on behalf of Ipoa, I want to first and foremost send our condolences to the family of the late judge. I knew him myself well. He was a fine jurist, a fine judge. We want to offer our condolences to the family and to the judiciary at large. It's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at this very important moment to launch our strategic plan. On behalf of the board and the staff of Ipoa, I welcome you warmly to this event. Since the establishment of Ipoa in the year 2012, under the Ipoa Act, it was established to provide independent civilian oversight over the work of the National Police Service. In Africa, Ipoa in Kenya is the only other institution apart from the one in South Africa. And so it's a pioneer institution in Africa. And we actually have other African countries coming to study and benchmark with Kenya in order to also set up their own independent civilian authorities. And Ipoa was established to give effect to Article 244 of the Constitution of Kenya, which provides for the police service to observe the highest standards of professionalism and discipline. And our job as Ipoa, therefore, is to promote professionalism, discipline, transparency, and accountability within the policing sector. The Ipoa Act mandates Ipoa to receive complaints from members of the public against members of the service. And through this, our previous strategic plan, we made significant strides. According to the data that I have, we have resolved more than 20,000 complaints filed with the Ipoa by members of the public. We have conducted over 5,000 inspections. Ipoa also inspects detention facilities and prison facilities of the police. We have conducted over 5,000 inspections and monitored almost 1,000 policing operations. This is public order management, demonstrations, protests, and also other police operations. These achievements were made possible by the commitment of the staff and the guidance of the board and the support of our partners who are here this morning. But challenges remain. Just to also add that so far I think we have over 40 police officers who have been investigated, prosecuted, and convicted, and who are serving or have served prison sentences. And we continue to work with the DPP on matters of prosecution of these officers. But challenges remain. We continue to face inadequate resources, both human and financial. Our staff strength is at currently stands at 289. And the establishment which was approved is 1,377. But key critical issue about this is that we have 77 investigators against a need of 400 investigators. And that's where the core of the public complaints are, that we take too long to investigate complaints and prosecute any complaints arising out of those investigations. And so we have also faced, in addition to lack of financial resources and staffing, in the course of the work of Ipoa, We have also faced non-cooperation by the police, and I'm very happy that the chair of the National Police Service is here, National Police Service Commission. I hope you are going to have better cooperation than Ipoa when it comes to the National Police Service. We also have a problem with sometimes getting cooperation from families of the victims of police abuse of power. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ipoa's third strategic plan in security and justice, while also aligning to national, regional, and global development blueprints. Before I continue, allow me to highlight the strategic plan's development journey. Upon swearing in of the commissioners, the board went around the country and collected views and suggestions from state and non-state actors and members of the public and our own staff in the regions on how they envisioned an effective and efficient civilian policing oversight in Kenya. Thereafter, the board appointed an ad hoc committee which considered the national policing discourse involving all stakeholders and undertook in-depth research to gain insights into key strategic issues affecting policing in Kenya. The team was further guided by lessons learned from the implementation of the previous strategic plans, relevant international, regional, and national goals, various task force recommendations on police reforms, and the public expectations. Led by this team and in line with the guidelines for the preparation of the fifth generation strategic plan, the board oversaw the development of the SP, subjecting it to both internal and external validation to ensure full enrichment before implementation. At this juncture, allow me to invite you to join me in appreciating the board-led ad hoc committee led by Commissioner Dr. Annette Mbogo. Dr. Annette, please could you stand up so that it can be seen by our partners and members of the ad hoc development implementation team. We thank you very much for having guided this plan. Our plan is anchored firmly in the Constitution of Kenya, Vision 2030, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It puts Ipoa as a key player in strengthening the rule of law, human rights, and enhancing citizen confidence in security institutions. In preparing this plan, we identified critical and strategic issues that we attempt to address through this plan. These include non-professionalism and non-adherence to human rights standards and the rule of law in the policing sector, low public trust and confidence in both the National Police Service and Ipoa, low level of awareness of Ipoa's mandate, limited strategic partnerships, inadequate capacity, both physical, human, financial, and technological. And this includes also, when I talk about technical, we actually have some technology which was given to us by some of our development partners, and now we are unable to use them because the licenses have expired. And because the funding has stopped, we are unable to pay for the licenses and continue to use this technology. We also have limited knowledge management on civilian policing oversight in Kenya and in Africa generally. This plan, therefore, is a roadmap on how we are going to tackle these issues. We have set 6 thematic strategic goals as our efforts in the next 5 years. One is to help to build a professional police service that complies with human rights standards and the rule of law. It is possible to maintain rule of law and order and also respect and uphold the human rights of the people. Dissent is not disloyalty. People have the right to picket and demonstrate, but we have got also the rule of law and maintenance of order. And so during public order management, we see a clash of these competing narratives, upholding of human rights and maintenance of law and order and the rule of law. We also need to improve public trust in the National Police Service and Ipoa, to enhance the level of awareness of Ipoa mandate, to strengthen our partnerships, to build our capacity, and to ground all our work in research and data to ensure that all our efforts in civilian oversight are informed by data and by facts, not by assumptions. Ladies and gentlemen, to realize these goals, we will focus on 5 key result areas, KRS. Our first one is police accountability. Of course, the second one is enhance public trust and confidence in the Ipoa and NPS. Institutional and effectiveness and efficiency, strategic partnership and engagement, and data and knowledge management. For successful delivery of this mandate, this plan will be implemented through annual work plans and performance contracts to ensure accountability at every level. It will embrace digital transformation, automation, and decentralization to extend Ipoa's reach beyond the 9 regional offices we currently operate. However, effective implementation of this requires resources. The total cost of this plan is estimated at Kenya shillings 13.18 billion. Based on historical allocations from Parliament and the Exchequer, the Exchequer is projected to provide approximately 7.33 billion, leaving a financing gap of 5.85 billion, 44% of the requirement. To bridge this gap, we continue to lobby Parliament and the National Treasury to allocate more funding while actively engaging development partners on resource mobilization. A strong monitoring and evaluation framework has been built into this plan. We will track progress quarterly, biannually, and mid-term and end-term reviews will be provided as we look at the outcomes and impact. Very importantly, feedback mechanisms will be used to ensure we adapt and learn as we go. No institution can achieve such an ambitious agenda alone. We will deepen our collaboration with the judiciary, the ODPP, the police, the National Police Service Commission, the Internal Affairs Unit, the civil society organization, development partners, academia, and above all, the Kenyan public. Civilian oversight without trust is impossible. Reform without partnership is impossible. Charles de Gaulle once said, war is too important to be left to the generals alone. I think policing is too important to be left to the Ipoa alone. Policing requires not just Ipoa, but also the partners who are here today, both state and non-state actors. In bringing this launch to fruition, I want to thank all of you for your inputs and for your participation. And finally, as I conclude, allow me to make 3 appeals. The first one is to the government and Parliament. You have to prioritize adequate resourcing of oversight institutions in Kenya. That includes Ipoa, Kenya National Human Rights Commission, and other oversight institutions. We cannot use lack of funding to cripple institutions like so critical to oversight and governance in this country. Without resourcing, accountability is just a word on paper. So we would like to, I'm very happy that my senior, Honorable Peter Karuma, is here to represent Parliament and our chairman. I hope that we will get better support next time. Our second is the leadership of the National Police Service. Embrace transparency and cooperation. We have, as Ipoa, we are in a very difficult place. We are accused by the public of not doing enough to hold the police accountable. We are accused of being part of the police, covering up for them. On the other hand, we continue to have resistance and lack of cooperation from the police command and the police office in terms of investigating misconduct and criminal action by the police. I think we are all working for the same people of Kenya, Wanjiku. So it's important for the police command to embrace transparency and accountability and to accept civilian oversight. It's possible to have a professional police force which is also respecting human rights. Oversight is not a threat. We have had anecdotal evidence from the field of some police officers or police commanders complaining that they cannot do their work because of Ipoa. That's a very dishonest statement. The police know what they are doing. Some of them, I have noticed, are masters of double speak. And we know when they are doing that, we are going to hold them accountable. I think when we talk about corruption in governance and in Kenya, police always comes up. I was just talking to Dr. Amani, my brother, from whenever corruption is mentioned in Kenya, police comes up at the top. And I think I was telling you, as we try to deal with the corruption within the police force now we are going to recruit 10,000. Let's try and do transparency and accountability at the intake level, so that even as we try to work on accountability of the police, the entry level is also good. There's transparency, there's trust in the process. And you assured me that you are going to have your team in all the recruitment centers. I hope you'll be there up to the last end, the last mile, which is the medical, all over. We know where the bumps are in the course of the recruitment. We also want the police to adopt and embrace technology. I know there's a fight between the Police Service Commission and the NPS on the recruitment about people applying online or taking hard copy applications. Now, we have been told by the police command leadership that they're going to embrace technology. They're going to make the OB to be digital. If the OB is going to be digital, and you don't want the people who are going to apply for a job not to apply online, there's a disconnect somewhere. I think if you are going to embrace technology all through, then you should apply from the word go. An officer who cannot even open a computer, who cannot put it on, cannot be expected to enter entries in the OB, which is digital. That's why we continue to have a problem between the manual OB and the digital OB. So please, as the leadership of the police, embrace technology and allow even the traffic fines. The traffic fines have been, there's been a proposal to automate it and adopt technology. We can reduce the number of traffic policemen on the roads and even reduce corruption on the roads if we actually adopt technology and we go for the automated traffic fines payment. Again, there are so many countries which have done that. It's not a new thing. And our final plea is to our partners, our civil society partners, the government, academia, and the public to join hands with us and participate as we try and hold the police accountable and make sure that we have a democratic country. I thank you all. I apologize. I forgot to introduce my commissioners. Please Please, I want you to come here so that we can share the bullets if they are fired to us. Led by the Vice Chair.
Commissioners, please. Yeah. The mics. Please, just come up here.
Come up here so that I want you to introduce yourself so that we can share we can spread the risk to all of us.
Thank you very much, Chair. Our distinguished guests, good morning. My name is Anne Wanjiku. I'm the Vice Chair of the authority. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Mushiri. I'm a commissioner. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ken Williams Nyakomita. I'm a commissioner with Ipoa. Karibuni.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annette Mbogo, also sitting on the board. Thank you.
Hamjambo wote. Jina langu naitwa Jacqueline Mwenesi Lukalo, pia commissioner. Nimeokoka, Yesu ni Bwana.
Good morning. My name is Samati Kimboy, member of the board.
Good morning. Good morning. God is good. Ebusuramiane kwanza. Very good. I'm Dr. Miko Onyego, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioners. This is the new team that is spearheading this reform. They were appointed in December last year, at a time when there was a lot of complaints about enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and other complaints from the members of the public. And this new team has got a good skill mix. We have got former members of parliament, former police commanders, former people from the army. So it's a good mix. And they understand actually policing much more better. And I've been telling the police command that if this board, you cannot work with them, then you are very bad people. Thank you very much.
So we will just have a short appreciation of this team, who are actually the vision carriers of Ipoa in the next 6 years. As you can see, we are more or less relaunching them, having appointed, and what is more critical is the vision they will be carrying in the next 6 years of the authority. Over to you, the Administration Police Band. Let's put our hands together for a special dedication of that twin to the new Ipoa board. New in the sense that because of the vision they are going to share with us today through the launch of this strategic plan. And we thank the band. Now, allow me just to make some quick recognitions. And I want to begin with the staff of Ipoa, the secretariat, the power behind Ipoa. I mean, we are actually the team which is driving, the power driving the leadership. So I would request that all Ipoa staff in the room, kindly, if you may just stand up, and kindly let us recognize them as they stand up. Kindly stand up. We are well represented there. I want to mention that we have also the field staff, not all of them, but the leadership of the 9 regional offices in the room who will be carrying with them today this new strategic plan for implementation. And they are, starting from cost, the Assistant Director Cost, Hussein, is present there, Garissa, there, Meru, Nakuru, Nyeri, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu, Nairobi. Very well, you can sit. The directors are present. Director Investigations, Lagat there, Director Legal Services, Director Complaints, Director IMPS, Inspection Monitoring, Director HR, Director Finance. Very well, all of them there. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together again. Along with that, allow me just to recognize the institutions represented here very quickly. In a very special way, we want to recognize the presence of the National Police Service Commission, led by the chair, but there are also members from the commission here. SRC, led by the chair, and 2 commissioners who are present here. And I would wish to mention that we have Dr. Odera, the vice chair from SRC, and we have also Commissioner Leonard Ashindu, who is also here, and together with other technical staff. We have the team from WPA. We have the team from UNODC. The National Police Service is represented here. The Office of the Auditor General is here. IAU, Internal Affairs Unit. The Kenya Law Reforms. The ODPP. Commission on Administrative Justice. WPA I've mentioned. The National Government on Administration, the NGAO, NGEC, National Gender and Equality Commission, the National Crime Research Center by the CEO, Bana Rutere, is also present. UNODC are represented, Kenya Human Rights Commission, LSK are also in the house, the DCI, the National Land Commission, ESCC is represented, Transparency International, ICJ, director is also in the house, IJM team are also in the house, TSC, one of the commissions, are also in the house. This is then, of course, the team from Parliament, the technical staff are also in the house, Kituo cha Sheria, Usalama Forum, KLRC, Kenya Law Reform Commission is also in the house, amongst others. So on that note now, allow me just to invite the commissioner who has been spearheading the development of this strategic plan, together with the members, the technical staff of Ipoa, and the person to make this presentation is none other than Commissioner Dr. Annette Mbogo. Kindly let's put our hand together to give us a preview of what is in the strategic plan, and thereafter we'll get into quick remarks. Karibu sana.
Thank you, CEO. I believe I'm the shortest lady in the room. That's why the mic has to be adjusted. I wish to stand on the protocols that have already been established and wish you all is it good morning or good afternoon? Thank you. So before I start my presentation, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the ad hoc committee of the board that were involved in steering this process, because it was a very consultative process. And I'd ask them also to stand up. That's our Vice Chair, Anne Wanjiku, Honorable Mushiri Nyaga, and Ken Williams Nyakomita were part of the team that was leading in the board in the development of the strategic plan. And with them was a very strong management team, as well led by the Deputy Director of Finance and Planning. So also the management team that was involved, please stand up so that we can recognize you and acknowledge you for the work that you did. So members, colleagues in the room, these were the people who are behind this work, and it's good to acknowledge and recognize them for the good work that they did. Thank you. So I'll start first by looking at the strategic planning process and how we did it. And the chair has already made remarks towards this. It all began by looking at the last strategic plan, which had an end-term evaluation report, where we looked at the achievements, we looked at the lessons learned, as well as the gaps that arose from that period. And that actually informed the development of the current plan. From there, then we began the strategic planning process with a collection of views from partners, from stakeholders, because we thought that this, in as much as it is the authority developing this plan, we want to hear from our stakeholders. What do they see as the priority areas that we should consider? And so there were several regional visits where views were collected that then led to the development of the plan. And the development of the plan was then subjected to validation, both externally and internally. And a lot of you who are in this room were there during the validation exercise. And finally, we now have a plan that we intend to launch, and thereafter we will disseminate this particular plan. So unlike many other institutions where external consultants designed this process, this was purely an internal job that was done by the authority, and I think that is really commendable in terms of ownership of the document. So I will speak mainly on what the document itself is all about, and we were using guidelines that are set by the Ministry of Finance and Planning. But generally, the outline of the presentation will be basically on the 8 chapters of the strategic plan. So looking at the introduction, what it provides, the strategic direction as has been conceptualized, the analysis of the situation and also the stakeholder analysis, and the issues, strategic issues, goals, and the key result areas. Then the strategic objectives and strategies that Ipoa has identified. Chapter 6, looking at the implementation and coordination framework. Chapter 7, looking at the resource requirement and mobilization strategies. And the last chapter that looks at monitoring, evaluation, and reporting framework. So it's a huge document, 88 pages, but we also thought that we will develop an abridged version. So for those who don't want to read bulky documents, we still have an abridged version that you can read that summarizes those 8 chapters that are provided in the full strategic plan. Moving on to the achievements. So I said that we looked at the 2019 to 2024 achievements, and these were the main achievements we identified and formed the foundation upon which the current plan is set up. So first was the development of the Ipoa regulations. So some of you may have seen these regulations and interacted with them. And these are very important regulations on how the Act is supposed to be operationalized. They were developed during that particular strategic period. Also, we developed internal HR instruments. There was a lot of ICT and digitization that was done internally, including systems for how Ipoa processes cases that it receives, and development of policies for Ipoa as an institution. And looking also at the recommendations that we've made to NPS and the uptake of those recommendations, that was almost at around 50%. And then trying to see how we can increase the staff recruitment so that, as the chair had mentioned earlier, the staff establishment is still quite low, and there's a need to see how we can enhance that. The other achievements also related to complaints resolution, inspections, and just how our teams have been monitoring the operations of the National Police Service. So all these we found to be very critical achievements that the authority was able to achieve in the last strategic period. So the current plan is a very strategic document in the sense that several other critical policy and legal documents align with the plan. And for instance, within the UN framework, we have the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Pact of the Future that will end in 2030, same period within which our current plan is going to last. We also have the African Union Agenda of 2063 that still plays a very critical anchorage for our plan. And we have the East African Community Vision of 2050. The Kenya Vision of 2030 again will expire at the same time that our plan will expire. And we have the BETA and MTP4. And looking at the legislation, definitely the Constitution, the Ipoa Act, and other laws that relate to policing and human rights. So I think we all know the mandate of the authority, so I will not stress on that. So we are saying that the mandate of the authority remains as it is. And so what the plan will be doing is to strengthen the execution of this mandate as anchored under Article 244 of the Constitution. But in terms of the vision and the mission, the strategic plan has reframed how we see the vision of Ipoa for the next 5 years. And if you look at the vision we have proposed to include, following a lot of community engagement, is that we want to have a trusted and transformative civilian oversight authority that's promoting accountability and professionalism in policing. So we noted the fact that the issue of public trust is a real challenge when it comes to generally state institutions. And so what we are looking at is how do we make Ipoa to be a trusted and transformative civilian oversight authority that still continues to promote accountability and professionalism. The new mission still borrows a lot from the old mission, but it still looks at how we can promote accountability and professionalism in the National Police Service through independent partial investigations, inspections, audits, monitoring of the service, and also collaboration on civilian oversight. So we identified the different ways in which we will promote accountability and professionalism, and you will note that collaboration is one very critical aspect of it. Now, in terms of the strategic goals, I'll not stress on this because the chair had already mentioned that in his speech. But we identified six strategic goals for this particular plan. So the first one is we want a professional police service that complies with human rights standards and the rule of law. And that's really the core of our strategic goals. We also want to see improved public trust and confidence in the National Police Service and in Ipoa. We want to also see enhanced level of awareness on the Ipoa mandate, sustainable partnerships and collaborations towards civilian oversight, strengthened institutional capacities so that there is effective service delivery, and data and evidence-driven civilian oversight mechanisms. So those are the 6 very critical goals that the authority will be focusing on in the next 5 years. The core values, not much change, but the core values remain mainly as they were in the last period. So in terms of chapter 3, we are looking at the situational and stakeholder analysis. So we did a very robust analysis of the political situation, and we all know the political dynamics that currently exist and how they impact on policing in the country. Looking also at how the police reforms frameworks are and how we can leverage on those and even improve the legal frameworks that are already provided. Looking also at the economic situation, we have budget cuts and yet institutions are severely underfunded. We have a taxation policy and inflation and high cost of living. We also looked at opportunities that exist within the technological sphere. So issues around cyber crimes and how policing impacts that. The use of social media, we saw this during the Gen Z demonstrations, and also how we can advance ICT, artificial intelligence and surveillance in our work, but also in how policing can be done. Then we looked at the social situation, the mental health issues affecting the National Police Service members, the Ipoa staff, the high crime rates that we are seeing in the country, the issues around corruption and unemployment, and how all this then impacts our strategy. Again, the environmental context, we are fighting climate change, and this also has an impact on how policing is carried out. And finally, the legal context, so the overlapping laws, the Ipoa regulations and the implementation and awareness raising around that, the legal reviews that are currently ongoing, and how we can expand the mandate of Ipoa to other discipline forces that interact closely with the communities, especially in terms of that are not within the mandate of the civilian oversight. And then also the harmonization of other laws that we have. Then we did a stakeholder analysis and identified many of the stakeholders that are present here as key partners in assisting the authority in implementing the plan. So the public, the Office of the President, as well as the National Administration and Ministry of Interior and Parliament. Obviously, the National Police Service is a critical actor, and the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, the judiciary, other government institutions, civil society, development partners, and other like-minded organizations regionally and otherwise. For Chapter 4 and 5, the strategic issues, the goals and key result areas, I'll not go into depth on those, but we have highlighted those in the document, and when you do get time to read, it's just to see what are the key result areas we're expecting. But we do anticipate that with the implementation of this plan, we're going to see an enhanced police accountability, public trust and confidence, improved strategic partnership and engagement, strengthened institutional effectiveness and efficiency, as well as improved data and knowledge generation and management. So Chapter 6 looks at the implementation and coordination framework. I think this has also been touched on by the chair in his remarks. So we are basically going to continue implementing the key planned activities using new innovations and new ways that are laid out in the strategic plan, including improving our feedback mechanism. But of critical interest would be the establishment of regional offices, two new regional offices, having a command center that will coordinate different actors, and also strengthening community dialogues between the police and the public and ourselves, and reintroducing the Outstanding Police Service Awards for those police officers that are outstanding. The issue of the budget has been mentioned, that we do have a 44% deficit, and in terms of what we are hoping to do and what we intend to do is to institutionalize resource mobilization within the structure of the authority. We already have a standing board committee on resource mobilization, having policies as well on the same, and partnering with different actors to support the address of these resource gaps. Again, on Chapter 8, that has already been addressed, that we'll have an external evaluation as well as an internal monitoring of how the plan is being implemented. So way forward is, as we are doing today, is we'll continue to disseminate the strategic plan of the authority, both internally and to our external partners. We are looking for collaboration, especially with most of you who are here in the room, to see where areas in which we can strengthen our operations and to support the authority to implement the strategic goals that have been identified. And we intend to engage with all of you stakeholders throughout the plan cycle to share the evaluations and also to review the implementation progress. So the evaluation will not just be an internal affair, but it will be something that we'll do collaboratively with partners. So I think that is all in terms of the draft. And if you don't get time to read the document, I think in my presentation, I have ensured that you have the key issues. And so we look forward to working with you to ensure this becomes a reality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I trust that you've gotten the highlights of the new Ipoa strategic plan. Kindly, once more, let's give a round of applause to Commissioner. Allow me now quickly to recognize a few of our very, very important partners who have joined us also. We have Beverlyn Ongaro, from the Office of the High Commissioner. We have also Victoria Potter, First Secretary, British High Commission. At this point, Chair, allow me to break the protocol and invite His Excellency, Acting Ambassador Wigan from the British High Commission to make his remarks. Kindly let's put our hand together for His Excellency, the Ambassador. Karibu sana. If you thought I'm tall, now I am joined by, yes, there we are. Let's see. Yes, we can relate very well.
Allow me to begin by acknowledging the protocols observed and also to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Ed Barnett, the Acting High Commissioner at the British High Commission. His Excellency Neil Wigan returned to London some weeks ago, so you've got me for the coming months until his substantive replacement is appointed. Let me also pass condolences to the family and friends of the late Judge Ocheng. Good morning. And thank you, Commissioner Annette, for a very clear articulation of the strategic plan that is being launched today. And for me, it's a great honour to join you today for this launch of the Independent Police Oversight Authority's new strategic plan for the period 2025 to 2030. And congratulations to all of those involved. It's clear, as we've heard, from the MC, recognizing the many stakeholders in this room, that importantly many have contributed to the objectives that Ipoa has set out over the next 5 years, and rightly so. As set out in the new UK-Kenya strategic partnership, which was signed by His Excellency President Ruto and Prime Minister Starmer in July, the United Kingdom stands alongside Kenya in its journey to strengthen democratic governance, uphold human rights, and promote the rule of law. And police accountability is not merely a technical issue. It's a cornerstone of democratic societies. It ensures that law enforcement serves the people with integrity, transparency, and respect for human dignity. As the late and great UN Secretary General Kofi Annan once said, ensuring police accountability is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, democracy is diminished and justice is denied. And Ipoa plays a vital role in this regard. By providing independent oversight of police conduct, it can foster public trust and reinforces the social contract between citizens and the state. And therefore it was excellent to see one of those strategic objectives around delivering on exactly that commitment. The United Kingdom recognises this important role and has been therefore a long-standing partner of Ipoa's mandate since its inception, and currently through our programme Reinvent. This partnership has strengthened Ipoa's institutional capacity to deliver on its mandate, with a focus on 6 key areas. First, capacity building on corporate governance to enhance Ipoa's internal systems and leadership effectiveness. Second, tracking Ipoa's recommendations to ensure follow-up and implementation by police leadership, promoting accountability. Third, inspection of police stations to assess compliance with human rights standards and improve conditions for detainees and officers. And I must say it's impressive to hear the statistics in terms of what Ipoa has already achieved, including handling over 20,000 complaints. I was impressed by the demeanour of the Director of Complaints, who looked very positive despite the heavy load that she has to deal with, but also the inspection of over 5,000 police stations. Fourth, in terms of the UK partnership and support, is around awareness raising on Ipoa's mandate among police officers and communities to foster understanding and cooperation. Fifth, facilitating station-level dialogue sessions between Ipoa and station commanders to promote accountability and transparency. And sixth, community engagement initiatives that bring together police and citizens to build trust and encourage joint problem solving. And again, it's really good to see and hear in the new strategic plan for the next 5 years that partnership that the UK has had and continues to have with Ipoa clearly underlines the strategic direction of this critical institution. So as Ipoa embarks on the implementation of its new strategic plan, we reaffirm our commitment to supporting its vision. We welcome the emphasis on institutional strengthening, digital transformation, and deeper collaboration with civil society and constitutional bodies. Let me also commend Ipoa's efforts to engage young people, women, and marginalised communities in its oversight work. Inclusive policing is effective policing, and it is essential to sustainable peace and development. So in closing, I wish Ipoa every success in this new chapter. The UK remains a steadfast partner in your mission to ensure that policing in Kenya is professional, accountable, and responsive to promote public trust and confidence in the National Police Service. Thank you.
So thank you very much. We are already sort of building rapport with the ambassador. That was the representative of the ambassador for British High Commission, and is Ed Barnett. On that note, Chair, we kindly request you to allow the ambassador to go out. I mean, he has another assignment. So if you can kindly just escort him out, and probably there is a small gift for him out as you go along with him, as you escort him out. Allow me now to invite another critical partner. This is Amnesty International Director, who is in the house, out on Irungu, will be the next speaker. Karibu sana. Let's put our hands together for Amnesty International. Amnesty International is a member of the Police Reforms Working Group, and he will be speaking both in that capacity and also as the Director, Amnesty International. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Chief Executive Halake Elema, and also to the staff of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for giving us this opportunity to say a few words as you launch what I think may be the most important strategic plan ever to come out of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. First of all, our condolences as Amnesty International for the passing of Judge Ochieng. I recognize the Principal Secretary. As you can hear, I'm a bit old, so I talk about permanent secretaries, but the Principal Secretary for Human Rights. We have campaigned for your position and for that department, so we're very glad that there is now a central focus within the executive on human rights. Please give a round of applause to the peers. To all the guests here that have been mentioned, and also those that haven't been mentioned, good morning. This strategic plan comes at the end, I hope, of one of the deadliest seasons of violent police protest policing that the country has probably ever seen, perhaps as far back as the 1950s in the state of emergency. I don't wish to be dramatic, but I think 115 killed protesters and over 43 on Sabasaba Day gives us a moment for reflection. And not just those of us in the human rights community, but also for state agencies, and in particular the National Police Service. I think one of the things that we would, as Amnesty International, encourage the Independent Policing Oversight Authority as we take some time to read the 88 pages of the strategic plan would be to conceptualize your work in the context of human rights impact. It's very important, I think, to keep note of the operational changes that have happened, and we have seen the Independent Policing Oversight Authority grow in terms of capacities. We feel and are completely behind your concerns with regards to the defunding of the independent offices and the constitutional commissions. 30 to 40% financing gap for us is a matter of concern, and therefore we would call on the executive and the parliament through Honorable Peter Kaluma here present to essentially find ways of strengthening the funding for the independent offices and the constitutional commissions. The other actor that I think is very critical for your work besides the National Police Service is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The gap between the number of files that you have submitted to the ODPP and the number of cases that are currently before our courts is a matter of concern for Amnesty International and for, I guess, the public. That is primarily where the trust deficit with the public lies. Thirdly, I think it is important to recognize this is the strategic plan that will govern or will guide the Ipoa during the next elections. The 2027 elections, unfortunately, look like they might be the greatest test for our constitution and for the lives of Kenyans that we have experienced for quite a while, perhaps as far back as 2007, 2008. I don't have the time to go into it, but just to recognize that it is important that all state agencies, all non-state actors, and the diplomatic community have to be seized of the importance of ensuring that we are able to have an election that is consistent with Article 81 of our Constitution, which is everybody who is eligible to vote has the opportunity to vote, and that they are able to vote in an environment in which there is a there is no intimidation, there is no bribery, and there is no violence. And I think that's the collective challenge that we have at the moment. Fortunately, I have memorized the rest of my presentation, so the technology will not hurt me too much. Let me end on another note, and thank you very much. The panel of experts into the compensation has been essentially stayed by a court order, and for many of the panel members, we declared immediately that that happened, that we would suspend our involvement in the panel to respect our courts. But I think it's very important that we recognize that even with the opportunity of the compensation, that criminal culpability, criminal prosecution must continue. So I think there's an actor that is here that thinks that somehow we must backpedal, that we must not focus on criminal liability for police officers and for commanding officers. I would just like to say, as the Amnesty International Executive Director, that we will not accept that attitude, because ultimately the only thing that is a deterrence against unprofessional, violent policing is criminal prosecutions and policing reforms. Compensation will not deal with that problem. It only is a relief for victims' families, for survivors, and we require more if this country is to move forward in an environment in which we have professional policing, we have human rights-based policing, and we have police officers that we are proud of, and a service that we are able to stand behind and help them to tackle violent crime and the threats that this country receives. So I think that would be my parting shot. I encourage the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, and the National Police Service, and of course the ODPP, to continue to press for criminal prosecutions in our courts. We need to see judicial redress for many of the people who have been hurt, not just in the last 2 years, but for the last 8 years and beyond. Thank you very much.
So as I invite the next speaker, allow me to recognize other partners who have joined us. And this is a very important partner, that is the team from INL, led by Maureen, and together with her colleague, Jerry, and I know Maureen, you will have a speaking slot. Also to recognize the team from Voco Africa, led by Khalid, who is also in the house. Now, at this point, allow me to invite the Executive Director, Jacob, from Usalama Reform Forum. Karibu sana, Jacob. Let's put our hands together for Jacob. Jacob is, has been a full-time staff at executive, of course, at the Usalama Forum, and he has been part of the Ipoa journey. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Bwana CEO, and good morning, everyone. My name is Jacob Atiang, as the CEO has mentioned, leading Usalama Reforms Forum. I also want to ride on the already established protocols and really say that we are happy to be here to join Ipoa today in the official launch of the strategic plan. I am lucky to have seen the 3 strategic plans of Ipoa. Usalama Reforms Forum, together with many other institutions, the civil society organizations, came together in around 2012. And during that time, we had already had the 2010 Constitution. So the journey then was to begin to lay foundation for the institutional reforms. So we were there to push through the oversight and accountability mechanisms that gave birth to, among others, Ipoa and the Internal Affairs Unit. So as I have said, we were there to start the journey with Macharia and Njeru Commission. We were there to walk through with Anne Makori Commission, and we are here today to walk through with Isaka San Commission. I think for me that is something that is important. Having said that, when we first met with the current commission, Chair, I remember at some place in Hurlingham, I did indicate to you that Ipoa as an institution would be judged by the character of the commission. And 7-8 months down the line, we have a feeling that you are on the right path. And we want to say that we want to join you today to begin officially implementation of this strategic plan. Again, I was lucky to have been part of the team that was at Sarova Stanley, I think, a couple of months ago, to help consolidate the final validation of the stakeholder engagement. So that is really important. But having mentioned that, my colleagues are here. Horton has already spoken. I know Vincent would get his chance to speak. But more importantly is that looking at your 5 key result areas, it is important for us to begin, as part of the Police Reforms Working Group family, to begin to see and interact with the strategic plan and see the areas that would be of great interest for us. And I know that out of those 5, 2 of them are really critical for us. The first one would be the question about accountability and oversight. So that would be very, very important. So we really want to look at, as we have walked this journey for close to 13 years today, begin to deepen those engagements that really strengthen the question around oversight and accountability. When we midwifed Ipoa, there were many recommendations about this, but today, for those who see your trademark, I call it trademark, guarding public interest in policing must be key and must remain your focus with the Secretariat and the team and the family. The next thing would be expanding and deepening partnerships and engagements. And as you've called the civil society, I hope we'll have time to really internalize this strategic plan, but more importantly, begin to see the areas of convergence in terms of those strategic partnerships. I think the other thing that is important for us and for me is that I had an opportunity to have a quick engagement with the chair of the Kenya National Police Service Commission this morning. Dr. Ari, thank you so much and welcome. This is going to be, again, a litmus test for your commission. A couple of weeks ago, and even before you joined, there has been quite a bit of, push and pull in terms of the mandate of the National Police Service Commission. And as outlined in the National Police Service Commission Act 2011, Chair, I want to welcome you and ask you to take your rightful place. I'm saying that because the last commission, as you know, did their work. Yes, we must applaud them. But when the Maraga Task Force report was released, Maraga had a verdict about the commission. And one of the most disturbing, I want to call it so, was the fact that the commission seemed to have delegated back its key mandate of human resource management, development, and welfare issues back to the National Police Service. In 2014, again, we were part of the team that helped the National Police Service Commission to come up with 7 regulations. And I can walk you the journey someday, a story for another day, but it begins with the first mandate around recruitment. And Chair, you know that recruitment of police recruits who then go into training to become police constables is exclusively the mandate of the commission. So as you speak in the back room, as you begin to prepare, I am also aware that the recruitment of the 10,000 police officers is just around the corner, and probably when you come up, you'll be able to tell us when. But for us, we are willing to get into that process to monitor recruitment of the police, because in 2014, again, I am taking you back a bit because without history, you don't have a future. In 2014, Bwana Chair, together with Ipoa and many other institutions, Amnesty International, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and the Usalama Reforms Forum, we did monitor the first open recruitment of the police. And for those who know, before 2014, the recruitment was a closed business for the police alone. So in 2014, once we had the commission in place, we monitored the recruitment of the first open recruitment of police constables, I think 5,000. That is the recruitment that had quite a bit of issues. And for those who can remember, Justice Isaac Lenaola then was High Court Judge, Constitutional Division, did nullify those recruitments for the fact that the recruitment were not transparent, were not accountable, but more importantly, there are a lot of corruption questions. So we want to call upon you as we walk into this so that we're able to see it is a test for your commission, but for the country, you are not alone. We want to work with you to ensure that the upcoming recruitment is really transparent, accountable, but more importantly, a recruitment that would be able to really look at the face of the country. I've already seen recommendations of about 4,000, a quarter to the NYS. So that could be a good thing. But we want to see how transparent that would work, because even at the NYS, my thinking would be, I know NYS has more than over 6,000 recruits. So even within the NYS, if they bring us 4,000 quarter to NYS, let it be competitive within NYS so that you get the best out of NYS to come through to this. The other thing I may want to speak about, Otton has mentioned this, is the defunding of constitutional commissions and offices. And Honorable Opondo Kaluma, the Member of Parliament for Homa Bay Town, and our good friend who has stood with us in the civil society for many years is here. Mheshimiwa, we want to ask you through your office and Parliament that we must begin to look at the best way to support constitutional commissions through funding. I know the 2024, 2025, 2026 cycle is almost gone, but I also hear that conversations around the next cycle of budgeting is almost around the corner. So please invite us to begin to push through to support these institutions, including Ipoa, so that we can be able to get this working. For Ipoa, this is a good one, a good journey to beginning. When we met the last time, you indicated that you were going to have 2 more regional offices in the north. Now the head office and 10 regional offices and counting. We really are backing you in terms of the decentralization agenda and so on and so forth. But my part in short, Alaki, as you come, is the fact that we know that IBC has already announced the next by-elections. I think 7 parliamentary seats and the Senate, and over 29 civic seats. So that would be a very important engagement that we want to monitor to see, because the by-elections are a test of 2027, as Otton has said. So a really important thing to begin to look at in terms of public order management and the way police react. Finally, I think looking at the last reports of Ipoa, there are 2 things I want to mention, then I can sit down. The first thing is that there are a bit of some amendments that are coming through to Parliament, and we hear intel around the fact that there are recommendations to want that, Ipoa, so one of the mandates that is important that supports the National Police Service is what you call police inspections of police premises and police stations. And that is done at the, Ipoa does it without notification of the National Police Service. So we hear that the National Police Service is pushing through an amendment that would require Ipoa to notify the police before they come. That would be clawing the gains that we have made. We must allow Ipoa to walk in any police station, any police premises, any time and produce the report. And by the way, when we worked with the IG that was coming from the NIS, his name is Boynet, yes. When we worked with Boynet really appreciated the fact that the Ipoa reports on inspection of police premises is actually adding value to the National Police Service. So leadership of the NPS who are here, please allow Ipoa to do the work. The work will be an objective instrument for the country, but more importantly, to support the National Police Service. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, the Executive Director of the Usalama Forum. And we are listening to our partners, to our stakeholders. This is well received. As I notify you of shortly, the Chief Justice of Republic of Kenya will be walking in, and I will be announcing that shortly. Immediately she walks in. But allow me at this stage to prepare the Director, IJM, International Justice, mission to come and make his remarks. And immediately the Chief Justice walks in. We'll probably just pause for a minute as she takes her seat. But meanwhile, you can continue. Karibu sana.
Our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Vincent Chahale, Country Director, International Justice Mission, which is a public benefits organization that works closely with Ipoa. We are gathered here today to launch a very important document. It's an important document for this reason. Many times when we talk about police accountability, we look at it from a human rights angle, and that is correct. However, it goes beyond that. At the premise of any meaningful human development is an efficient policing system. And in order for us to have an efficient policing system, we must also have an efficient oversight system, which is the work that Ipoa does. So this document that we are launching here today is a document that will assist this nation to realize its meaningful human development. It goes beyond human rights. It has an impact to democracy. It has an impact to socio-economic development, and therefore we need to look at it from that prism. Having said so, my colleague has spoken to some intended amendments to some of the legal and regulatory framework within the security sector, including Ipoa. Ipoa has been in existence for several years. It's governed by a statute. And unlike the Constitution, which is a living document, and therefore it is interpreted to suit the contemporary realities, a statute is not as such. From time to time, we have to amend statutes so that they suit the realities of the time. Sorry.
Sorry for that interruption. I kindly request all of us to arise in honor of our chief guest, and that is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Let us put our hands together for our chief guest.
Okay. So for a minute, allow me to take over from the CEO as the MC. We want to welcome our chief guest in a special way, the Honorable Lady Chief Justice. Karibu sana, my lady. The entertainment before you is the Administration Police dance band. So tupatie moja ya kuchangamusha. Kuchangamusha is what in English? Kuchangamusha to changamusha. To psych us up, yes? So in welcoming the Chief Justice, I know we've been sitting for long. Please give us 2 or 3 very fast, twende. Please feel free to dance. Feel free to dance. Let's welcome. Karibu sana. Why are people not dancing? We do the shoulders. There is the shoulders. For those who understand, if you know, you know. You guys. Backbench. Chief Justice. Commissioner, I see you. Ongeza. Vida. I'm not seeing the shoulders. Honorable Kaluma, I can see you. People are not dancing. I'm also an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. This is a side hustle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Justice, allow us to proceed. The person who was on the stage is the Director, International Justice Mission, Mr. Shiale, who is now continuing with his remarks. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Even before I continue, my lady, the Chief Justice, welcome, and I would just like to extend our heartfelt condolences to you and to the entire judiciary for the loss of Justice Ochieng, an astute judge who most of us appeared before when we were young advocates, and he leaves behind a very good legacy. So sorry, and Pole. I was speaking to the point of amendments, and we have seen before at times that when we amend some of these statutes that regulate institutions, we end up weakening them rather than strengthening. And we should be careful about that. And especially considering the fact that over the past few years, in fact, just looking at a year ago, we have had an evolution in terms of police accountability and police misconduct. And therefore, if there is a need, and there is, to amend the laws that govern oversight institutions, especially for Ipoa, then let us look at it from a point of strengthening and not weakening. My colleague mentioned something. I've not had the benefit of seeing those amendments, but we look forward to seeing those bills so that we can also make contribution to those amendments. We have had gaps in police accountability over the past few years, and so the approach should be, how do we then fill those gaps through these amendments? And even as we speak about constitutional commissions, and I agree with the previous speakers that we need to adequately resource them. But at the same time, constitutional commissions should also exercise their mandates. At the threshold of the new constitutional dispensation, looking at the powers that the Constitution gave the constitutional commissions, some people in fact call them the fourth arm of government. And there was very high expectation of constitutional commissions. They were given powers to summon, to recruit their own staff. They were given functional independence. However, at some point, and I think it happened after the first term, the term of the first commissioners had ended and new commissioners came in, for some reason, those powers are not exercised. And constitutional commissions have become quiet. Sometimes I feel like they are shying away from exercising their constitutionally granted mandates. And therefore, even as we ask for more resources for them, they should exercise their constitutional given mandate, including the mandate to secure the observance of the values and principles enshrined in the Constitution, which is a constitutional mandate. I do not want to speak a lot. I want to congratulate Ipoa and to reaffirm our commitment as the International Justice Mission to support you. And looking at the plan that you've come up with, we look forward to what you are going to realize over the next 5 years, and we make commitment to support you. Nawatakia kila laheri. Asante.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Allow me now to invite the representative from the Office of the High Commission for Human Rights. Beverly, kindly come and make a quick short remark on behalf of the UN High Commission for Human Rights. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Guest, Lady Justice, Chief Justice Martha Koome, Chairperson of Ipoa, Isa Hassan, your board, honorable guests who are here, who are coming from various institutions, and they happen to be our partners, and citizen at large. Good morning. So as has been mentioned, my name is Beverline Anyango Ongaro. I work with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, known as UN Human Rights. And one thing that we have in common with Ipoa, maybe at times you keep on forgetting, is that we were born the same time, 2011, and out of crisis. Ipoa came into existence because of various human rights violations following recommendation by the Ransley Task Force. In our end, as an office, we came into existence following the aftermath of 2007 and 8 post-election violence. And it was acknowledged that there was a gap in Kenya, that we don't have a dedicated UN agency to support in integrating human rights. And both of us also focus on human rights. And that shows that as agency, because of this commonality, we've worked closely with Ipoa in entrenching human rights. Allow me to congratulate you for this momentous moment of launching a strategic plan, and also want to commend you because you undertook developing it in a consultative process. You engaged with stakeholders in various parts of the country, which is unusual because most agencies, they would simply get a consultant, get a few program officers, and they come up with strategic plan. But Ipoa went further and enlisted views from the citizens in line with public participation. And for this, once again, I commend you, and not to mention that as an office, we were gratified by the fact that Ipoa reached out to us and sought our views. And so I look forward to digging into the strategic plan. Now, in relation to your plan, if you look at the time frame which you'll be covering, it's up to 2030, and it's between various milestones. So the first one is the fact that, as we know, Kenya has ratified various human rights conventions, to be precise, 7 out of 9 of them. And this year, Kenya underwent the Universal Periodic Review. Now, we will be due for another review in 2029, and your strategic plan will still be amend the recommendations of the UPR. Equally, Kenya is due for review by the Committee Against Torture next year. And as usual, Kenya will be reviewed after 4 years. So Kenya will be due for the next review after next year, 2030. So once again, showing that Ipoa, as you are at your tail end of implementing a strategic plan, you'll be between 2 key human rights body review. And what did these bodies say? They did urge for Kenya to strengthen Ipoa. You may be glad to know that. And they noted that Ipoa has been facing challenges in terms of resources, human and also financial resources. And this is to appeal to those who are in the room who are able to ensure that Ipoa has adequate resources, that it receives those resources to discharge its mandate. The other recommendations that were made by these treaty bodies is to ensure that cases touching on police accountability, they are expedited and they are finalized. And this is important because at times we forget the fact that when it comes to police and civilian oversight, they're the only persons often who have to make decision within a second. Then thereafter, lawyers remained fighting for a lifetime in court, from judges, prosecutors, and defense counsel. And even as they fight who is caught in between, it is the victims of human rights violation. So this is just to put pressure on us that even as we implement the strategic plan, we have to ensure that at the end of the day, we center the citizen. We have done a lot of work with Ipoa, and allow me to mention 2 which are key at this particular period. So the first one is in relation to strengthening Ipoa's capacity to integrate human rights ahead of elections. We did that in 2022, And Ipoa didn't do it alone. It did that with other actors that include the police who are in the room, internal affairs unit, and civil society organizations. And out of that, we were able to have fairly peaceful elections with few incidents of human rights violations. And we can do it again in this particular period. Let's start working early, and I affirm the support of the UN to work with you in integrating human rights ahead of elections, even as we are having ongoing by-elections. The other area that we have worked closely with Ipoa and with the Internal Affairs Unit, in line with the best practices elsewhere, is we developed the standard operating procedures on investigation and prosecution of violations committed by police officers. And out of this, we've been able to see a level of cooperation between IAU and the Ipoa. And it's important that we maintain that so as to ensure that our cases on police accountability are expedited. And when we look at data that we have so far, it shows that since Ipoa's inception, there are more than 30,000 cases that it has received and are processed so far. And in relation to constitutional cases, there are around 150 cases, often filed by citizens who are seeking for compliance to human rights. And in this sense, I want to challenge Ipoa together with other actors who are here. Let's interrogate the powers of Ipoa under Section 6 and 7 of its Act. Ipoa has a lot of powers, but it is yet to be actualized and to be fulfilled, I bet it being only 14 years. And allow me to suggest one of the ways as a legal practitioner for you to consider. If you look at the 150 cases constitutional filed, that is enjoining Ipoa as an interested party, often against the AG and the National Police Service Commission, you find they could be easily complied to. And therefore, maybe it's time we explore how do we rope in judiciary so to ensure that it retains supervisory powers. This means for the actors to go back to court, let's say after 1 year or 2 years, and to be able to update the court how far they've complied with the decisions of the court. This is important because it will do two things. One, it will instill public confidence in policing by consent. Two, it will enable public to have high level of confidence, not only in Ipoa and existing institution, but also judiciary as a bastion of the citizen. And I'm just posing a challenge to my Chief Justice. I don't know that this is something you may want to consider. I know we've done it before in terms of retaining residual powers and to ensure compliance. Last but not least, I know I've said a number of things. I also want to end by challenging us. Let's also harness the best practices. It's very easy to focus on what is not working, and there are a lot of good things that are happening that Ipoa has been able to do in collaboration with the NPS, IAU, and judiciary. So let's also highlight the best practices, because after all, Ipoa is the only second oversight civilian body we have in the continent, and they often look out to us as a country to find out what are the best practices. So let's do that. I know bad news sells, but also let's focus on the positive, and Ipoa, we promise we'll work with you to ensure that Kenya is better, every person enjoys their human rights. With those very many words, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Chief Guest. And at this point, allow me to recognize the Director, ICJ, Mr. Eric, who is in the House, and also the representative of the Commissioner General Prisons, Ms. Jane Wanjiru, who is also in the House. Let me now invite the representative of the U.S. government, the U.S. Embassy, a program we have been working very closely with. That is the INL program. And I'm inviting Maureen, who is speaking on behalf of the U.S. Embassy, particularly the INL program. Kindly, let's put our hands together for her. Karibu sana.
Good morning. And first, let me acknowledge Chairman Hassan and the entire Ipoa board and secretariat, and of course our chief guest, the Honorable Chief Justice. Also wish to acknowledge the Honorable Peter Kaluma from the National Assembly, and all of the stakeholders and partners here today with all protocols observed. Many in this room were here a few months ago in a similar ballroom to discuss this strategic plan. And this really reflects Ipoa's commitment to engagement with international partners and with those in civil society and in government to pursue policing oversight. This recognizes the role that so many players have in ensuring the integrity and professionalism of the National Police Service. And I really wish to recognize the presence of the police and ODPP representatives who were there before and are here again today. That commitment is essential to the success of Ipoa. I also wish to compliment Kenya and its process for strategic planning. In the United States, you would never see song and dance at the launch of a strategic plan, and that really builds the enthusiasm in a way that we have not seen before. And I think that's really important as Ipoa prepares to embark in the next 5 years. As already mentioned, there are national elections and significant events and challenges that are already foreseen. And the commitment to engagement with all stakeholders is going to position Ipoa as strongly as possible to tackle those challenges. And the INL office that I represent, International Narcotics and Law Enforcement at the U.S. Embassy, does indeed have a proud history of support and engagement with Ipoa since its inception, recognizing again that the integrity and professionalism of the police service is just one part of that keyword, which is service. The police officers in Kenya, the government officials, and the members of Ipoa are all working toward public service. And we recognize that they are all working collaboratively to protect the public interest in policing in Kenya. And we know that is of critical importance in the 5 years ahead. And we also wish to acknowledge the role, again, that partnership plays in seeing these cases through. Ipoa can conduct investigations, but they do not have arrest authority. They cannot succeed in their work without the support of the police service. Likewise, they do not have prosecution authority. They cannot succeed without the support of the ODPP. And collaborative work is essential for the success of that accountability, again, for integrity of the police service and accountability to the Kenyan people. We appreciate the progress that has been made, and we look forward to watching Ipoa leverage this strategic plan to ensuring that Kenyan's law enforcement agencies are upheld to the highest standards of professionalism and protection of human rights in the next 5 years. Thank you.
So thank you very much. We are getting closer. Allow me now to invite the representative of LSK. This is Teresia Wavinya, who is a council member at LSK. Karibu sana. Let's put our hands together for her, kindly.
To our chief guest, to Ipoa chairperson, commissioners, the board members, the partners, and all the protocol that has been set. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. My name is Teresia Vinya Nicholas. I'm an advocate and I'm a council member who I serve under the stewardship of Faith Odhiambo. I'm here to represent our president. I bring warm greetings from our president and the council. Indeed, it is a profound honor to stand with you today as Ipoa unveils its new 5-year strategic plan, a plan whose success is not merely a matter of formality, but of our nation's constitutional destiny. This launch occurs at a very profound national moment across our country, where our people are unsettled, the recent reports of abductions are there, enforced disappearances are still there, and extrajudicial killings are not an abstract incident. They represent families torn apart, communities living in fear, and a republic wounded by loneliness in various spaces where the law should be the ultimate protector. This is precisely why Ipoa exists, as the watchdog of the people. The authority was established for this exact moment, so that it ensures that the immense power entrusted to the police is exercised with accountability and an unwavering fidelity to our Constitution. Oversight of policing is not an option. It is an essential mechanism that turns our Bill of Rights from word of paper into a lived reality to our people. The Law Society does not come into this partnership with empty words. Last year, March, we signed an MOU with Ipoa, and we formalized our collaboration, committing to tackle police misconduct and strengthen public accountability together. Our members at the Law Society have stood shoulder to shoulder with Ipoa in legal clinics, police reform forums, and on advocacy platform. We do this because we understand the fundamental truth. We understand justice cannot be compartmentalized. When police oversight fails, the entire justice system collapses. When it succeeds, constitutionalism flourishes. We have seen the data, especially for this year, as it was screened when we started this session today. We have seen what Ipoa is capable, even under immense constraint in terms of budgeting. The number speaks volume. We have seen they've been able to have 1,943 complaints which have been processed, 597 investigations which have been completed in just the first half of this year. We have also seen 78 cases which have been forwarded to the DPP. 2 convictions also have been secured. These figures, they do tell a story of diligence, but they also reveal the sobering gap between the accountability we promise and the accountability we deliver. At this juncture, I will really be amiss not to take this moment and to commend Ipoa for its courageous, diligent work on the Rex Masai's matter, where I, as an advocate alongside with other counsel, we've had the privilege of rendering this support to this case. Ipoa's thorough investigation, which found the case met the threshold of an inquest, is a testament to its unwavering commitment in pursuing this matter with integrity. So Ipoa has not only honored the memory of a young life lost, but has reaffirmed its vital role. But we must also be candid, and I'm happy one of our members, who's also Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Kaluma, is here. We must be very candid on this issue. Ambition must be attached with allocation. Ipoa this year sought a budget allocation of 2.3 billion for its vital work, but we have seen that it was not even given half or even a quarter. Yet, here we are launching a 5-year plan. Oversight without resources is oversight only in name. Therefore, this strategic plan that we are launching today must be more than a document of objectives. It must be a rallying call of compelling case for proper resourcing, for institutional independence, and for measurable impact. Our Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Kaluma, we are sending you with all humility. Because if we keep on saying we want Ipoa to work independently, we want Ipoa to be able to deliver, we also need to support them with the resources that have come to you as an independent body. So please make sure you are our voice at that National Assembly. 3 imperatives that we must engine in this plan is responsiveness. Every complaint that Ipoa has received must be met with urgency, credibility, and transparency. For the victim, oversight delayed is oversight denied. Secondly, independence. Ipoa must never, ever bend to political interference or security sector intimidation. Remember, you are the oversight. True oversight is and must always be impartial oversight. Thirdly, the remedies that we are offering to the public, that includes investigation, must end with not just mere file numbers, but they must end with justice, prosecutions, convictions, systematic reforms, and restitutions for victims. When the CEO was highlighting the partners, DPP was also mentioned, IJM was also mentioned. So on this third aspect, we need to rally behind all of us to ensure that indeed the responsiveness is felt in all the sectors that we are involved. The Law Society is mandated by law to uphold the Constitution, protect the public interest, and to ensure the administration of justice. These are not optional duties, these are binding obligations that cover seamlessly with Ipoa's mission. Together, we form a chain of accountability, a chain that assures Kenyans that neither lawlessness in uniform nor silence in courtroom will be unchecked. I believe our Chief Guest, Our Lady Chief Justice, will support in the issue of no silence in the courtroom. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, history will not judge Ipoa and the Law Society by elegance of our strategies or the eloquence of our speeches. It will judge us by a single, simple metric. Do Kenyans feel safer? Do Kenyans feel freer? Are they more respected in their daily encounters with the law because they have a watchdog called Ipoa? With no much further ado, on behalf of the President of the Law Society of Kenya, I congratulate Ipoa on this milestone, and the Law Society will continue standing behind you, working with you, to litigate with you, and if necessary, to fight beside you, until oversight is not just a promise in this plan, but a lived reality for all single Kenyans. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, LSK, for those commitments to very bravely be, the commitment to work with us. Chief Guest invited guests. Let me just remind you the vision of the new strategic plan. And the vision of the new strategic plan as presented is a trusted, transformative oversight authority that promotes accountability and professionalism in policing. That is the new vision of Ipoa. Now the mission is to promote accountability and professionalism in the National Police Service through independent and impartial investigations, inspections, audits, monitoring of the service, and collaboration on civilian oversight. The next speaker is the representative of the National Police Service, who is representing the Inspector General of the Police, and this is none other than Commissioner of Police Charles Otieno. Karibu sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to ride on the protocol already set. My name, as has been told, is Charles Otieno Otiende. I'm a Commissioner of Police and also the Director, Legal Affairs at the National Police Service Headquarters. We are here present with many other officers from the police leadership, some of them my seniors, and more profoundly, the band that is entertaining you here. I'm here, my bit now is to read the Inspector General's speech. He had other compelling commitments, and I will read. Honorable Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Mr. Ahmed Isaac Hassan, Chairperson of Ipoa, Honorable Peter Kaluma, from the Committee of the Administration and Internal Security, Chairperson of National Police Service Commission, Vice Chairperson SRC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to join you today on this auspicious occasion to launch the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, Ipoa, Strategic Plan 2025 to 2030. This plan marks a crucial step forward in the journey towards ensuring that National Police Service is transparent, accountable, and responsive to the needs of all Kenyans. Allow me to take this early opportunity to congratulate the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for achieving this significant milestone in our collective pursuit of police accountability and reforms. This strategic plan aligns with our shared vision of promoting professionalism and discipline within the National Police Service. It underscores our commitment to upholding human rights, enhancing public trust, and fostering a culture of accountability. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, one of my key priorities as Inspector General of the National Police Service is to transform our police stations and indeed all service areas into centers of excellence for police operations. They should not only serve as administrative units, but also as hubs of professionalism, responsiveness, and service delivery. To achieve this, the National Police Service will focus on key areas as outlined in the NPS Strategic Plan 2023 to 2027, which will provide the impetus for our vision of transforming the service into a professional, efficient, and responsive body. Among these is enhancing police accountability by strengthening mechanisms for investigating misconduct and ensuring that those responsible for abuses are held to account. Furthermore, promoting transparency by improving access to information and ensuring that policing operations are transparent and subject to oversight will build public trust and foster stronger relationships between the police and the communities that they serve. Moreover, the National Police Service is keen on improving police effectiveness by enhancing its capacity to respond to the needs of the public while upholding the highest standards of professionalism and integrity. Additionally, the service has embarked on digitizing all public services, including complaint filing, fine processing, and other citizen-facing interactions. This automation will minimize opportunities for bribery and enhance transparency. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, let me appreciate the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for its immense support in ensuring accountability and professionalism within the National Police Service. The service values this partnership and looks forward to our continued collaboration in serving the public. As I conclude, let me assure the public that the National Police Service will continue to serve and protect the nation, its citizens, residents, and visitors, and their property, according to democratic policing ideals and respect for human rights as stipulated in our Constitution. Thank you. Douglas Kirocho Kanja, MGH, CBS, OGW, Inspector General, National Police Service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is the message from the Inspector General of the National Police Service. Chief guests and invited colleagues, let me just remind you, the strategic goal number 1 for this strategic plan is a professional police service that complies with human rights standards and the rule of law. The 4th strategic goal is sustainable partnerships and collaboration towards civilian oversight. I'm just alluding to the next speaker, who the police cannot be able to attain professionalism and who is very critical for partnership with Ipoa to deliver on the vision and the mission of the new strategic plan. This is none other than the chair of the National Police Service Commission, Honorable Yuda Komora, Dr. Yuda Komora, who is with us. May you kindly join hands with me and invite him with a round of applause, and particularly considering that he has just assumed his new position. Karibu sana, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, ndugu Halake. Our chief guest this afternoon, the Chief Justice, President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Martha Koome, the chairperson of Ipoa, ndugu Ahmed Isaac, commissioners of Ipoa. Allow that I ride on all the established protocols. And first of all, Lady Chief Justice, to join fellow attendees to this forum to convey our deepest condolences following the demise of Justice Ochieng. We share the hard moments with you on this occasion when you have to come for a celebration when you are mourning a colleague. Allow that I go straight to my remarks, which will be very short and brief, because this is a day that we've come to join our brothers and sisters at Ipoa to share this on this occasion when you are launching the strategic plan for Ipoa covering the period 2025-2030. On behalf of the National Police Service Commission, your twin sister commission, we do convey our congratulations to you, Chair, and your entire team of commissioners and the leadership of Ipoa. The strategic plan is not merely a set of visionary aspirations, but indeed a critical roadmap that will guide the next phase of policing oversight in Kenya. It represents a steadfast commitment to the ideals of accountability, professionalism, and human dignity. The relationship between the National Police Service Commission and Ipoa is and must remain symbiotic. We are two sides of the same coin, entrusted by the people of Kenya with a sacred duty to ensure that our National Police Service is not only effective in providing policing services, but guarantees public safety, and also that it becomes one of the institutions in this space that commands respect, trust, confidence, of the public through its conduct. As we are all aware, or we may be aware, I know we have many lawyers here, the National Police Service Commission is the constitutional body mandated under Article 246 of the Constitution of Kenya and charged with the responsibility of the human resource management functions of the National Police Service, which cover recruitment, appointment, promotions, transfers, as well as disciplinary control over the service. Our work is therefore fundamentally seeking to build a professional and ethical police service. Our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, independent oversight is the cornerstone of modern democratic policing. This is where Ipoa's role becomes critical and indispensable. Your investigations, Mr. Chair, your recommendations, and your unwavering voice for victims of police misconduct provide the critical external accountability mechanisms that complements our work and indeed within the reforms agenda that we are undertaking at the National Police Service Commission and generally within this space. This new strategic plan comes at a pivotal time. It builds upon the foundations laid over the past decade and boldly addresses the emerging challenges of our time. The focus on technology-driven oversight, the emphasis on victims-centered approaches, and the commitment to enhancing collaboration with stakeholders like the National Police Service Commission are essential and therefore most welcome. We note with particular interest the plan's objective to strengthen the mechanisms for feedback and implementation of recommendations therefrom. The NPSC is a primary recipient of these recommendations, especially in so far as disciplinary matters. I wish, therefore, to affirm our Commission's commitment to this process. We will continue to treat Ipoa's findings and recommendations with the seriousness that they would deserve, ensuring that where disciplinary action is recommended, it is undertaken promptly, fairly, and transparently. This is the only way to break the cycle of impunity and build a culture of accountability. Furthermore, we see immense value in the proposed collaborative frameworks outlined in the strategic plan. A closer and more structured partnership between our institutions will definitely yield powerful results. Allow that I mention something about recruitments, which then become our priority. Like has rightly been observed, we've just come into office. I think I'm 2 weeks old with other commissioners that came in a little earlier. We have prioritized the recruitment of the 10,000 constables in order to bolster our numbers, taking into account the fact that we need the head count, we need all the available resources to be able to efficiently provide our service areas, to provide services within our mandate areas. And therefore, we know for sure that, as has been spoken by the different, especially non-state actors, there's lots of interest, public interest, there's lots of concern in the manner and the mechanics of how we undertake this recruitment as well as others moving forward. I can only assure that we have every intention to ensure that the process is undertaken in the most efficient, most transparent manner, and that provides every opportunity to every Kenyan who would be eligible to join the service that they would be able to join. We have been in discussions with our colleagues in the National Police Service. We exist for them, and they can't work without us. We are in such a unique space, just like Ipoa and the National Police Service. So we have worked out a collaborative arrangement that will ensure that we deliver the 10,000 constables within the shortest time possible. I may not be able to give exact timelines today. What I can comment is that we have a critical meeting tomorrow, upon which we will approve the roadmap, which then we will communicate to the public. But our concern is that we know there's an urgent need to have every hand on deck, so that we secure the country. More so, taking into account we are getting into a sensitive political season for the next general elections. Having said that, we also are aware that there's been lots of, public outbursts. From the time we came in, if you may have noticed, we have tried to quieten this, because we are all, like somebody said, we are all working for the common mwananchi. And it doesn't matter for the common mwananchi, it doesn't care who does what. What they want is efficient police services, and we are committed to ensuring that happens, managing the dynamics that have been within this space. And you will note that there has been like deliberate effort to tone down the temperatures and ensure that the security sector is stabilized, because indeed we need a stable security sector. With those remarks on the recruitment exercise that we shall be rolling out shortly, let me re-emphasize that we shall work together with the Ipoa in rolling out the strategic plan and the specific initiatives. Where they coincide with our mandate, we shall work together with yourselves, because we have common goals of ensuring that we have a professional, accountable, and human rights compliant national police service that every Kenyan would be proud of. I therefore pen off by congratulating the Ipoa team on this major milestone and wish you every success. Thank you, and may God bless Kenya, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Chairman. So thank you very much, Chairman, particularly for those assurance. Chief guest invited, ladies and gentlemen, the second strategic goal of Ipoa in this strategic plan is improved public trust in the National Police Service and Ipoa. And in the chairman's remarks, I paraphrase, but this was quotes, that the civilian oversight over the National Police Service is so important for it to be left to Ipoa alone. The watchdog of the public in this instance is the Constitutional Commission and independent officers. On behalf of the Constitutional Commissions and independent officers, who are the watchdog of the public, is speaking would be Mr. Sami Chepkoni, who is the chairman of the Salaries Remuneration Commission, yes? And the vice chair of the Constitutional Commission and independent officers. Please join me in welcoming the chairman and the vice chair of the Constitutional Commission and independent officers. Kindly, karibu sana. Because the chair SRC is here, I'm sure, having seen all what we are planning, he may also declare a few things for Ipoa staff. Karibu sana. Thank you. Can I use this? Yes, you can use this if you like.
Thank you, CEO Alake, for those kind words. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to recognize our chief guest, the one and only Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, who is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court. But I just wanted to let us know that that lady has 2 other titles that most Kenyans don't speak about, which is she's the chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission. And number 4 is that she's the head of one of the 3 arms of government, which is the judiciary. Wapi makofi ya Chief Justice. Also recognize you, my friend and brother, Chairman of Ipoa, Isaac Hassan, and your capable commissioners. Also, my colleague, a chairperson of National Police Service Commission, who happens to have been the vice chair of SRC. So he recently got a promotion to be a full chairman of NPSC. Congratulations, sir. And all the other representatives of independent offices and commissions have come with my vice chair of SRC, Dr. Kilda Odera, and my commissioner, Leonid Ashindu. And there are many other colleagues here who are from CCIOs. I want to recognize you because it is your permission I need to make a few remarks on behalf of CCIOs. I also want to recognize a very, very important partner for Ipoa, and that is Honorable Peter Kaluma. That man is important for reasons I will mention towards the end of my remarks. Thank you, sir, for coming. I want to really appreciate the speakers who have spoken before us and who will speak after us. But most importantly, the partners that support Ipoa's work. I'm really touched that you found time to join us on this very, very important occasion. Let me say that a lot of what was in my written speech has been said by previous speakers, which is good because it will save time. But there are certain elements that I must say. First and foremost is to bring you greetings and compliments from my chairperson of CCIOs. That is none other than FCPA, Nancy Katungu. So chairman receive the regards and best wishes and compliments of the chairperson. She couldn't make it, but she thinks I can represent her very well. As to very well, you will tell her after the end of this submission. But let me congratulate you, chairperson of Ipoa. You know, I think I've told you 2 times now that I'm very proud of you because of what you have done for this country. But you know, this, you accepting to be chairperson of Ipoa is perhaps a very, very important challenge in your career. And we have so huge expectations from you, given the mandate of Ipoa, but also knowing what you've done for Kenya in the past. So we know you are up to the task, and we know even this strategic plan that you are launching today is going to be achieved under your capable leadership. I noticed, Chairman, that in your strategic plan, you have pronounced yourself to very, very, very ambitious KRS or goals. And it is because of that that I say that you and your team, and I've been looking at the caliber of the commissioners you have, and I think we have every confidence as your colleague members of CCIOs that you and your team will make us proud in delivering this strategic plan. Looking through the strategic plan, we can see very, very ambitious targets. But noticeably is that those ambitious targets might be challenged not by the capacity of Ipoa, but by shortage of resources, especially financial resources, to implement this strategic plan. And that is why I am sort of encouraged this morning or this afternoon when I see the partners that have come to say we truly support the way Ipoa is going. So we thank you, partners. But I was also going to say that Honorable Peter Kaluma, when you go back to the House and you are looking at Ipoa's budget, please allocate them a lot of money. That will really help us, help Ipoa achieve that ambitious strategic plan. But also, Chairman, we wanted to tell you from CCIOs that we'll truly partner with you. We'll work together as colleagues to make sure that we support you to deliver on this strategic plan. I know Mr. CEO, my friend Alake, was saying that SRC needs to play a role. And indeed, I've seen in one of your KRS that you need some help on the HR instruments. And that is why I did not come alone. I came with some colleagues from SRC so that they can look at your grading and the salary structures and make sure they are in a place that can make you attract and retain the best talent that can run and make Ipoa very, very effective. But I also wanted to pose a question, Chairman and your team, and maybe not just Chairman and the team, maybe everybody in the room and maybe every Kenyan. When the CEO was introducing his team, there was a lady there who is the director of complaints. But Chairman, I know you are doing a lot of work on compliments. You know, there are so many police officers who do a good job. They really work hard. I see some of them in various clips talking to protesters very nicely until the people go home. What are we doing with those guys? Are we recognizing them? Mr. Chairman, is it time that one day we can have in Ipoa the director of compliments? You know, I'll be very quick. So maybe that is going to be my question for you and my parting shot, that perhaps the whole ecosystem, we should not just focus on the few police officers who are doing the wrong thing. We need a solution to recognize the many, many good police officers who are doing good work for this country. With those many remarks, allow me to congratulate you again, Chairman, for this strategic plan and assure you of support, not just from SRC, but from the entire caucus of CCIOs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chairperson SRC. I think the staff will be very happy to hear the Salaries and Remuneration Commission is going to consider your terms of service very well. I think there is a lot of danger in being IPOA investigators. Please, I know we have two other speakers to speak, but the Chief Justice has to go to the mortuary and join the family in getting the body of the judge. So we'll allow her to make her remarks and then go. Then we shall do the launch with our MP, the chairman of the parliamentary committee, and the PS from there. So we're very happy we have the executive, parliament, and the judiciary. All three arms are here today, so we are very grateful. We allow the CJ to come and make her remarks.
Thank you very much. Please, may we be seated. Thank you, my friend, the chairman of Ipoa, Mr. Hamed Isaac. I recognize your board members, my colleagues from constitutional commissions, because as you were told, I chair Judicial Service Commission. I also chair the National Council on the Administration of Justice. Our very, very distinguished guests this afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, today I had to really try my best to be here because we have lost a colleague. If you don't mind, let me request we observe a minute of silence in honor of Mr. Justice Friend Ochieng, Judge of Appeal, who rested this morning. May God grant the Honorable Mr. Justice Ochieng eternal rest. Please have your seats. I also take this opportunity to convey my sincere condolences to the family, to the friends, and indeed to the whole nation upon the loss of the Honorable Mr. Justice Friend Ochieng, Judge of Appeal, who joined the judiciary in 2003 as a judge of the High Court. He served in various stations, rendering distinguished service, one of the top jurists that we have in this country, very committed, very, very friendly. He spearheaded our court annex mediation as the chairperson, and he did traverse the whole of this country, spreading the gospel of court annex mediation as an avenue of resolving disputes. We are really saddened to lose him because he has been a critical cog in the administration of justice. We pray that God will give the family strength and comfort during this difficult time of mourning. May his wonderful soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. So, I am here under these difficult circumstances to join Ipoa because I know the importance of the work of Ipoa. I felt I had to pull myself, come and join you at the launch of this strategic plan because I know how important it is for this nation. So allow me to congratulate the chairperson and the entire board and the secretariat, and indeed the stakeholders who have contributed to the development of this strategic plan. For me, this convening, like the other speakers have said, is not just a mere launch. It is a reaffirmation of a constitutional journey that we embarked on in 2010, a journey to transform policing, to entrench accountability, and safeguard human rights. The Constitution of Kenya has reimagined the relationship between citizens and the state by entrenching accountability, the rule of law, and the respect for human rights as our guiding principles of governance. Chapter 4 of our Constitution guarantees the Bill of Rights, securing for every Kenyan the right to life, dignity, equality, and freedom from torture. We have also guaranteed security of a person. Also, Chapter 14 on national security makes it clear that all security organs, including the police, are subject to the Constitution and accountable to the people. In the same spirit, Article 244 outlines the principles of policing that requires professionalism, respect for human rights, transparency, and accountability. And it is against this background that the Ipoa was entrusted with the mandate to provide independent civilian oversight of the police. The Ipoa was established as a constitutional necessity to ensure that the exercise of police power is consistent with the values of democracy and justice. We all know justice is not confined to the courtrooms. It begins at the very first point of contact between citizens and the police. And if that encounter, ladies and gentlemen, is abusive or unlawful, justice is already compromised. Ipoa exists to safeguard justice at the very first point of contact. By conducting independent and impartial investigations, inspections, audits, and monitoring, Ipoa ensures that policing remains professional, accountable, and rights-respecting and rights-based. By promoting civilian oversight, Ipoa strengthens our people's confidence in law enforcement and, by extension, in the rule of law. The judiciary has been consistent in affirming the constitutional principles underpinning Ipoa's mandates. In a case, the one we call Ipoa versus Sindiki, wife of Ashak, Sharif, and others, the Court of Appeal clarified and affirmed Ipoa's investigative mandate in ensuring police accountability. If you needed more clarification or interpretation of the Constitution, that has already been done in that case that you have investigative mandates. Through jurisprudence, The judiciary has recognized police accountability as a constitutional imperative and not merely administrative discretion. And this highlights the judiciary's role in giving effect to Ipoa's mandate by ensuring that the outcomes of your oversight are affirmed and realized through the laws. Why we need the strategy? The strategy is the bridge between the constitutional ideals and practical reality. We have experience in the judiciary as we implement our social transformation through access to justice blueprint that has taught us institutional change requires clarity of purpose. It also requires prioritization and measured outcomes. If you have a strategy, the one you are launching today, you will be able to prioritize your areas that require urgent attention. It is through our strategy, our blueprint, that we were able to identify backlogs of cases. It is through that we were able to expand court access in the marginalized areas, including embracing the multi-door approach in resolving disputes. It is through that strategy we were able to embrace technology and also to reach the vulnerable groups and operate the specialized courts, especially cases of SGBV, cases of family, cases of counterterrorism, and other strategies that we have employed. Similarly, Ipoa's strategic plan will serve as your compass. It will help you anticipate challenges, such as the use of technology in surveillance. It will help you in addressing the complexities of public-owned management and the need to build stronger relations of trust between the police and citizens. Your strategy will also help you provide a framework for accountability by setting out clear goals and benchmarks against which Ipoa's performance can be measured, including budgeting, because we cannot expect Ipoa to deliver their mandate if they have nowhere or withal. They need budgetary allocation to support the implementation of this strategy. And to achieve the objectives under the strategic plan, this is really a necessity: resource allocation. Oversight is resource intensive because it requires skilled investigators, it requires strong data collection and analysis systems. It requires community outreach, because when we talk about civic oversight, is how do we empower every Kenyan to become a part and parcel of the oversight. It requires a lot of education and the legal expertise to support accountability processes. And as the chairperson of the National Council on the Administration of Justice, I must emphasize that the resourcing of Ipoa is a constitutional duty considering the critical role it plays. When Ipoa is underfunded, it is the Kenyan people who are denied their constitutional right to seek accountability in policing. I'm happy to see many partners here present, and I really want to underscore that oversight is not an act of hostility towards the police. It is an act of encouragement. It is an oversight, which is an investment in policing, because we are trying to see how can we make policing better. by holding police officers accountable. Ipoa strengthens professionalism, discipline, and the respect for the rule of law within the service. Therefore, Ipoa complements the work that other government agencies do. And in the long run, the police themselves benefit because there will be public trust in the work that they do. A police service trusted by the people is more effective in discharging their duties, and citizens are more willing to cooperate in maintaining security. Ipoa therefore stands as a partner in building a professional police service that serves the Kenyan people with dignity. We in the judiciary proclaim here that Ipoa is our natural partner in the pursuit of justice. Ipoa secures accountability at the front line of policing, while the judiciary ensures that when those matters come before the courts, justice is delivered in fairness and integrity. This partnership is not incidental, it is necessary. When we work together, we create a seamless chain of justice that inspires public trust and strengthens the rule of law. Going forward, dear colleagues, this partnership can be deepened through dialogue, shared leadership, shared learning, and mutual support in upholding our Constitution. This is absolutely critical to ensuring that every Kenyan will enjoy justice, security, and dignity. In conclusion, I must reiterate that this launch of Ipoa's strategic plan is an important constitutional milestone, as it affirms the principle that state power must be exercised always to serve the people, never to oppress them or to undermine their rights. It is a reminder that the constitutional promise must be kept alive through vigilance, through oversight, and accountability. I commend Ipoa for your vision, for the values you have identified, and the courage you have taken to ensure that this strategic plan becomes your guiding right. I urge all the stakeholders here, including the executive, our registrar, thank you, my brother, Honorable Karuma, the civil society organization, development partners, all of you please support the implementation of this strategic plan for the benefit of all of us Kenyans. With those remarks, it is now my honor and distinct privilege to declare the Ipoa Strategic Plan 2025 to 2030 officially launched. I thank you, God bless you, and sign is right upon Ipoa as they seek to serve the people of this country.
Thank you, my lady. Another clap for our ladyship. And at this time, we are now at the climax. I humbly request, together with the Chief Justice, as the photo is being taken, together with the commissioners, board members, kindly Ipoa, join them, together with all chairs, kindly join them. We are about to launch. We are about to do a countdown. You see the one we do during New Year? That one, 10 of them. So Chris, when you look behind the tent, munajua yo maneno. Sawa, can you join me in doing the countdown as they take the photo? Band, nisaidieni kufanya countdown. So can we count together? Because we are at the climax. Just give them a minute. Yes, you can add volume to those drum beats. Yes, because it's the climax. Climax is now. All staff who are outside or any other person, come in, please. Come in. All our guests, please come into the hall. Thank you very much, our chief guests, commissioners, and all the chairs and our guests. And at this point now we will turn. Let us start with a countdown. 10, 9, 8, choir, 7, please turn to the 10s. 5, 4, are you ready? 3, 2. Chief guest, approach the tent. And while at it, we will be giving a special guest to the ladyship. My lady received something from us. Celebrate. Your ladyship received something from us. The chair will be giving it to you. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for honoring our invite. We are sorry you've lost your colleague. Our condolences. And we'll also pray for their family. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us, your ladyship. Pokea zawadi makofi. We've been economical with clapping. Can we clap? We are told clap until it is your turn. Clap until it is your turn. Thank you very much. Chief Justice also receives a copy. Aya, ongeza hiyo wimbo. Aya, hapo. Hey, you can dance a bit to the song. Don't be stiff. Aya.
Wakimaliza board, wasimame na board, mwambie tu.
Nani?
Toke.
It's done. The rest of the team, the rest of the chairs, commissioners, kindly receive your copies. I see you. Maybe you announce only.
So, team, thank you very much. We are distributing the launch strategic plan. Kindly have a seat. We have 2 important guests who will be addressing us. Kindly, if you may take your seats, as the chief guest is escorted by the chair. Kindly have your seats. And let our team distribute the strategic plan. Let our team distribute the strategic plan. We may require to take a few photos thereafter because we need Honorable Kaluma, the PS, and others to join us after their speech. Now at this point, if we may, I'm allowing Honorable Kaluma and the PS to take their seats and allow us now just to finalize. Our apologies for those breaks, but let me take this opportunity to now welcome the PS, Justice, Human Rights and Constitutionalism Affairs, Madam Pareno, who will be addressing us. Let's put our hands together for the PS.
Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. PS, karibu sana.
All protocols observed. My names are Judith Pareno, PS, Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs, under the Office of the Attorney General. I will just read a little bit of reading, but I'll also speak from my heart after the reading. And of course, I join our Chief Justice, the legal fraternity, the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and Kenyans to mourn our own, the judge who's just passed on, the Honorable Fred Ochieng, and my condolences to the family and all of us. Distinguished guests, and of course my friend, Honorable Kaluma. For some reason he has a special name. We share a special name. The chairpersons of commissions and directors, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to represent the Office of the Attorney General and the State Department of Justice and Constitutional Affairs at the official launch of the Independent Policy Oversight Authority strategic plan for the period 2025-2030. This important occasion marks a significant milestone in Ipoa's mission to strengthen police accountability and promote justice across our nation. We recognize and appreciate the critical role Ipoa continues to play in ensuring that our police service adheres to the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and respect for human rights. We commend the authority for its unwavering commitment to ensuring that our security institutions operate within the rule of law and remain dedicated to serving the people of Kenya with fairness and accountability. The strategic plan 2025-2030 is a testament to Ipoa's commitment to excellence and its vision for a safer, more just society. We commend the leadership and team for their dedication and meticulous planning in developing this comprehensive roadmap. As we launch this strategic plan, we also acknowledge the importance of partnerships and active engagement with all stakeholders. Achieving our shared goals requires collaboration, and we look forward to working closely with Ipoa to ensure that our justice system remains fair, accessible, and effective for every Kenyan. In line with this commitment, the Office of the Attorney General and the State Department for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs continues to work closely with Ipoa and other key actors, including the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, to advance legal and institutional frameworks that uphold human rights and reinforce the rule of law. One such initiative is the establishment of a multi-agency committee on the review of the legislative, policy, and institutional framework for the protection of persons from extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances in Kenya. This committee was tasked with conducting a thorough analysis of existing laws, policies, and administrative measures relating to the protection of individuals from enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings. Its mandate is to identify gaps within the current framework and propose reforms that align with the International Convention for Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances, as well as other relevant international standards. On behalf of the Office of the Attorney General and the State Department of Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs, I extend our best wishes to Ipoa as it begins the implementation of this strategic plan. May it guide your efforts in building a more accountable, transparent, and responsive policing system that serves the needs of our nation. That was the written one. I now come to the unwritten one. Over the last 4 months that I've been in office as PS, I have noted that we need to have a lot of harmonized ways between the relations of Ipoa and the police service. And my message to you is that we do not have a Kenya that belongs to Ipoa. Neither do we have a Kenya that belongs to the National Police Service. Neither one that belongs to the civil society, nor that belongs to maybe the State Department of Justice. The baseline is that we are all Kenyans. We cannot work at cross purpose. We can only correct each other, harmonize, and move on for the sake of this country. So we are all serving the same Kenyans. We must find a way of working in a harmonious way. And the baseline, another baseline, is the rule of law. If each one of us would stick to their line, stick to the law that establishes the institutions, stick to the mandate that you have, we will have a better Kenya that operates within the rule of law. Then I realized today that probably the State Department of Justice is not yet out there and known and the mandate known. So I'll speak a bit to show the link between the operations or the mandate of the State Department of Justice and that which every other person seated here today is mandated to do. In the Executive Order number 1 of 2025 that created the functions of the State Department of Justice, we were given a mandate to speak on issues justice, a mandate to speak on issues human rights, a mandate on constitutional affairs. Under that department, we have institutions, some of which I'll mention: the Victims Protection Board, the Witness Protection Agency, the Asset Recovery Agency. We also have a mandate to ensure that we implement our constitution in as far as the rule of law is concerned, good governance is concerned, and the mandate to fight corruption. So under the functions and the institutions, we even have the National Anti-Corruption Campaign Steering Committee, which does sensitization on issues corruption, while the EACC does the investigations and the prosecution. So we also have a mandate on all international treaties, obligations to international treaties, to observe, to ensure that we report the country positions, make record, bring and disseminate back every resolution that is made on the international treaties that we are signatory to as a country. Finally, we have a mandate to speak about the legal frameworks on elections. You know that we have passed, and the President ascended to the conflict of interest bill, which is a bill that we are trying to find a framework on how to implement to ensure that we have accountability. Under the department, I want to say that you have a door to walk into. The government has opened its arms so that you're able to engage through this department on issues justice, human rights, and constitutional affairs. When I walked in, I was given staff. How many of the lawyers do I have? 24 state councils in that department, ranging from the highest being a deputy solicitor general, 3 of them, principal state councils, chief state councils, and state councils in the number of 24 of them. So we are a department that is working out to ensure that matters justice, matters human rights, matters constitutional affairs are handled properly in this country. Finally, at the time when I came into office is when we had the GNZ issues. So just like you came in when the human rights issues were hot, I also came in when the human rights issues were hot. What was the message that I was passing as PS Justice? The message is we have our freedoms, we have our rights, but we have obligations as well. Rights and obligations walk hand in hand. You cannot demand for your rights while stumbling on other people's rights. So what do we do as a country? We are asking that you have your rights We hear you. We hear our young people. They are a resource to this country, but they also have obligations. If there is no country, we will even have no rights to observe. So our country is first, then followed by the rights, hand in hand with obligations. Finally, I wish you well. We've just talked with the chair, who is somebody I know very well, who is somebody we even at one point today I reminded him that we gave him a name. We turned his name at some point in the history of this country and called him Hasak Hassan, instead of calling him Ahmed Asak. And I am glad that we are in the same field right now to talk about human rights, to talk about reforms, to talk about the laws, and together we'll be able to make it with the rest of the constitutional commissions that are present. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Madam PS. Thank you for those very wise and very knowledgeable words you've shared with us. Now, allow me to request all of us to stand and give a hearty clap as Honorable Kaluma and Member of Parliament, and who is representing the chair of National Assembly Committee on Administration and Internal Security, address us. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Some things are very surprising to me. And that is why I ran very fast, so that you don't clap for long. I'm from one institution which is mostly condemned, not applauded. The Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court, the Chair of the Independent Police Oversight Authority, and the members of the Independent Police Oversight Board, the leadership of the various constitutional commissions and independent officers here present, Excellencies, ambassadors, international partners, local partners, leaders from the human rights and security apparatus of the state. I know some are within, but will not quite be introduced as such. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I practiced law with Judge Fred Ocheng, and I was then a partner at Kaplan and Stratton. He was a very sober, competent advocate to face in litigation. I appeared before Judge Fred Ocheng before the High Court when he was a judge of the High Court on his appointment. And up to 2 months ago, I appeared before Judge Fred Ocheng in a matter as a judge of the Court of Appeal. Allow me therefore to begin by registering my heartfelt condolences to the family of Judge Fred Ocheng, to the judiciary, and to those who seek justice before our courts. And more especially at the level of the judiciary, to the Chief Justice, whose vision has been access to justice for all. Every time I appeared before Justice Ocheng, it's a judge who was very amiable, very friendly, very loud, very engaging, very sharp, yet deeply considerate in his determinations. May God grant his soul eternal peace. It is because of his demise and the processes which are involved that we intervened in the program to allow the Honorable Chief Justice to speak before us, and of course to then launch the program and leave to deal with those other issues. I'm here in 3 categories. One, I'm a member of the Administration and Internal Security Committee in the National Assembly. In that committee, I've served now for 13 continuous years. And I think I'm therefore the oldest member of that committee. I'm also here representing the chair of that committee, the Honorable Gabriel Tongoyo, who was to be here in person. But Chair, I know the chair of the committee in which I serve has been in communication with you we started some oversight program on Monday, which was taking us through various departments, and our charge from Naivasha through Nakuru, they are now in Eldoret, and of course, then Kisumu, been dispatched to come and represent him because he's not able to come. And I want to tell you that I'm so honored to appear before you, because this is what has brought me. And once I'm done, by the way, I'm going back to join them in Kisumu. I'm saying this just to underscore how important, this particular authority and the launch of its strategic plan is to you, is to us at the level of the committee and at the level of Parliament. I don't want to say much. When you look at Article 238 of the Constitution, and you look at the provisions of Article 244 of the Constitution, and you look at the provisions of the National Police Service Act, and you look at the provisions of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority Act, and you looked at the National Police Service Standing Orders, you would then sit back and imagine that the work of Ipoa should be very easy. Surprisingly, it is not so. Because those provisions I've spoken to speak to a number of ideals which should govern police work and policing as a matter. Number one, they says the exercise of police authority is subject to civilian authority, so that the police works for the people. You imagine there would be no work for Ipoa. Those provisions also say that in their work, the police is subject to the Constitution and the Parliament, where the people are represented. I mean, if so, you would be, forgiven to ask, why do we need Ipoa? Those provisions say, in the discharge of their roles, the National Police Service shall be subject to the rule of law. In fact, subject to that, not just subject to, but uphold the rule of law, democracy, human rights, accountability, and all those issues. You will be forgiven to ask, therefore, why do we need Ipoa if the Constitution and these laws, say so? Those provisions say police should not allow or engage in any corruption. What work, therefore, do we have for Ipoa? I can tell you that in spite of those provisions, we have Ipoa because of the known history of particular police officers going against those clear provisions of the Constitution and of the laws. And for that reason, you know where you come from, and you know why you are established, and you are given the legal anchorage, and therefore, on my own behalf and on behalf of the chair, let me say congratulations that you are launching this strategic plan. In my public service tour, brothers and sisters, in this particular committee, I have vetted 3 Ipoa board appointments, and they have been counted here. But I wanted to say, Chair Isaac and the team, when I heard of your nomination to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority Board, I was very excited. And you will remember, and I think this was public, when you came before us for vetting, I barely had any question for any of you. Like PS, for once, I'm very tough usually. But admittedly, I had no question for any of them. Because I saw in them, individually and together, people who would take police oversight to what the Kenyans imagined and put in law. We had previous Ipoa boards, and it is easy for me to speak about them because I'm the only one who can. But guys, we had so many atrocities by the police officers. Houghton, you've been in this battle. In 2023, when we were engaged in demonstrations here, before we joined this government called fraud-based. On the night of 21st July, alone, one night, over 30 people were killed in Kisumu. Over 30 people. And the doors were being kicked in the low settlement areas of Nyamasari and Nyalenda. One by one, any male adult found there suffered a gunshot. A shot in the head, shot in the heart, shot in their genitals. Essentially, if you're not killed, you're castrated. In that period alone, over 75 Kenyans were killed by police for no reason, particularly in those areas, but across the country generally. How come we had Ipoa then, but we still do not know the police officers who went door to door killing those Kenyans? In that period, you remember my own party leader being shot at, the car being shot at several times. There was a time if he was not in an armored vehicle, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga would be dead, long dead. Over 17 bullets. The car is still at Jaramogi Odinga Foundation. And that was a daytime. If you have the photos of those police officers, how come there was no action to date? And so join me in commending this particular commission, PS, and ladies and gentlemen. This commission came into office, and we have the matter of Albert Ojwang, people are in court. We have the matter of Boniface Mwangi being shot at as we watched, people are undergoing prosecution in court. I say you have started very well. And so I commend you, Issa Kassan. I know during our political times we came to sack you. But the fact that you withstood that demonstration shows you have the spine to stand for what is needed for the chair of Ipoa. And of course I know all these other commissioners. Look, we have a former member of parliament in Ipoa now. Let's check it. We have now the former CEO of Kituo cha Sheria. We have ladies there of very distinguished record in fighting for human rights and constitutionalism in the country. That composition, Irungu should be able to push us somewhere. I want to say that as I congratulate you over the launch of this strategic plan to cover the 5 years, it is coming at a good time because you just came into office and essentially you are launching a strategic plan which is going to inform what you are going to be doing for the substantial portion of your term in office. But I question, having flipped through it and listened to you and the presentations made, that the biggest challenge you will have in terms of adherence to what you envision here and their full implementation will be resources. My chair confirms to me to tell you that in the discharge of its budgetary role under the Constitution, Parliament, and particularly the National Assembly through the committee in which we serve, will give you the resources you need to push through. And I'm shocked you are clapping at that, because in my tour of duty for the last 13 years, what has been said here, that the budgetary allocation for constitutions and independent offices and authorities like Ipoa has been going down year by year is so true. So true that this is the reason as to why, you remember I was telling you, PS, I left my service in Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Because the budgets come, you are engaging commissioners and authorities like Ipoa to debate them. There are commissions Irungu, which do not have even travel budget. You get less than $1 million. A body like Ipoa, you remember Issa Kassan when you first came, how much was your domestic travel money available? Around 830,000. And this 830,000 is to help them in oversighting the police who are spread across all villages in all corners of the country. I mean, how do you do it? So essentially, we've had a situation where we have commissions and independent officers and authorities like Ipoa, but essentially, Parliament, I will not blame the executive on this. I know you want me to go there. The executive has no power to budgeting authorities in Parliament. Parliament gives them just money for their remuneration, but without enough money to enable them discharge their functions. And so you remember Issa Kassan, when we first met, we made a promise that we will move your resource levels upwards. And it has not reached where you contemplated and wanted, but I think, I know at the end you will say, seated in that committee, we gave you additional monies initially we did not have. The supplementary will be coming. We have assured you, because you've started very well, of our fullest support. We will see what more we can do. Ipoa needs officers across all regions of the country, not just the 9 regions we are talking about. Ipoa therefore needs human resource that can be in all those places where our officers are serving the country, not just to receive complaints, but also to give them compliments. Ipoa deals with investigations of police misconduct. And remember, members of the police service, these are officers who are using lethal firearm. Can I pose a question to you, ladies and gentlemen, today? If Ipoa has to come who used a particular ammo or firearm to have belonged to the police, to which forensic lab do they go? Yeah. The only forensic lab is that one we've been budgeting for at the police. So we are investigating the police, and you go to the police lab to check on the ballistics. How far can you go with those investigations? It's a problem. So we need to give you facilities and have the confirmation of the chair that as a committee under whose charge you serve the people of Kenya. We will always strive to give you the resources, to give you the facilities, to give you what you need to be able to serve the people of Kenya. But as I leave that part, I want the members of commissions and independent officers here present to begin a sitting under your leadership and question how come Article 249 of the Constitution says Parliament shall adequately, and by the way, that is the only paragraph where the word adequate and shall are used in terms of resources, fund commissions and independent officers to be able to discharge their roles. How come Section 4 of the Ipoa Act says Parliament shall adequately fund Ipoa to be able to discharge their functions well, but still you don't have the money? Is it that you need to go to court together? Do you need a caucus as commissioners and independent officers where you can also have Parliament? I don't know how it will be enforced. I know we are in a narrow fiscal space. Therefore, I thank the donor partners present and all the international partners and other local partners for stepping into the gap where, of course, because of the narrowness of our fiscal space, we can look at it. But I hope you will sit and we get a way over which we can ensure that we give you resources just beyond your remuneration to be able to discharge your constitutional roles. Parliament will partner with you on matters legislation and all legislation you may require. AG Representative PS in charge of matters constitutionalism, human rights. Do we need to give Ipoa the power to arrest? I don't know. But if required by law, it is something worth considering. Because times without number, this board has come before us saying, we have requested the police to arrest such and such police officer and they are not moving. We need your help. And these board members will confirm to you, invariably in a number of cases, in the cases they have mentioned that to us, we have summoned those agencies and demanded that arrest be undertaken immediately. But we need Ipoa to have the power of arrest. I will not answer that question, but if we do, and it requires legislative intervention, it will be a matter to consider. I'm just throwing a few things as I end. Do we need to give Ipoa the power to prosecute? I don't know. And the DPP will be very wild with you if you mentioned that. But you know, Article 157, Sub-Article 11, allows agencies other than DPP to be given power to prosecute if circumstances are special. And the way Parliament can do it, because I do it, and I don't know whether I come to Parliament or not, but it will be a law. Do we need to enhance your powers as Ipoa so that you discharge your roles better? If you need any legal intervention, the chair tells me to tell you to see them. How come all cases involving police misconduct investigated by Ipoa take too long to be prosecuted and to be concluded? And on PS, I'm bouncing this at you. How come a matter like the matter of baby Pendo, a baby bludgeoned to death in a mother's bed by a police officer, has no end to date? And what does it say about these others and your powers and your meaning to the society as we proceed? I don't know. What I know is that I have the assurance of the chair of my committee that if you need any legal intervention and considerations, if such we were to be bounced at us, we will consult the Attorney General. The PS is with you. We will consult other relevant government agencies, including the agencies whose powers we could be sharing with you, to also give their thoughts. You are assured of all the cooperation you may need. I have personally moved with the previous board of Ipoa previously across the whole country. And I can therefore assure the chair CCIO that there is complaints, but there is also compliments. The majority of our police officers are very good people. Brother Irungu, let me tell you, when Albert Ojwang was killed, the first call to come to my phone was from a very senior lady police officer. And she called crying, saying, this is not our character as police officer. Please go to the bottom of this thing. So many of them are very good people. How can we ensure you work in an environment where the bad ones are subjected independently, impartially, and fairly to the rigors of law, as we also compliment, even recommend promotions for the good ones? Lastly, police work is as difficult as Ipoa work. And AG, I noted you said this, and at that point in time, people went a bit silent. It's a balancing of human rights, as Brother Irungu will tell you, with the need to keep the state stable. So it's very difficult. You're saying any police officer who misbehaves, who violates the principles of service in the security sector, must be subjected to the law and discipline. But we also don't want a police service that fears doing their work. I'm encouraged by the provisions of your act, which says in the discharge of your role on these matters concerning police issues, you will be impartial, you will be independent, you will grant them their natural justice, spaces, so that we balance, these things. Because as the PS rightly said, if you destabilize the state or it ceases, the first casualty will be the human rights and the constitution that documents them. Thank you very much. Congratulations. God bless you as you go forward to implement this beautiful strategic plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you most sincerely, Honorable Kaluma, and very particularly for those inspirational and also the commitments and the challenging, and of course the challenges you pose to us as the authority. That said, I want to confirm that Honorable Kaluma, for the period he has served at that committee, where I also appear along with the board, holds us very aggressively to account. But I know he's also advocate, for the civilian oversight. Now, allow me just to give the next part of our program, which we are almost towards the end. We will have vote of thanks. After the vote of thanks, we will request the high table, the chairs, the commissioners, to once more be here for purposes of the photo and getting, of course, good photos. And thereafter, we'll be presenting some few gifts to our invited guests. And thereafter, we will be able to give guidance on the lunch. We are going to provide lunch, so kindly don't leave. At this point, allow me to now call upon the Vice Chair of Ipoa, Madam Anne Wanjiku, to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the board. Let's put our hand together for her, please. Karibu sana, Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, our CEO. Good afternoon. As I said, my name is Anne Wanjiku. I'm the Vice Chair of the authority, and we are very happy and pleased to have you here today. I was just looking at the program as we were going on, and I was taking the remarks by our different guests, and I was impressed that none of them actually missed out. We even had extra guest speaking. So thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. And because I've been given only 5 minutes, I was given 10 on the program. I read our remarks from the board and also from the authority. And this is what we had to say to all of you for coming here today. The Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Lady Justice Martha Koome, distinguished guests, development partners, colleagues from government, civil society, friends of Ipoa, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, I wish to extend our deepest gratitude for your presence and participation at this historic launch of the Ipoa Strategic Plan 2025-2030. Your attendance today is not only an endorsement of the authority's work, but also a clear demonstration of the collective will to strengthen accountability, professionalism, and trust in policing. Allow me to begin by thanking the Almighty God for enabling Ipoa to have come this far and achieved milestones that have improved the quality of policing services. I appreciate God for favoring us to witness this event that sets the pace and strategy for our activities for the next 5 years. I thank Her Ladyship, Chief Justice, for gracing this occasion with your leadership and wisdom. Your presence affirms the critical link between the justice system and oversight in securing the rule of law. To our development partners, we thank you for your steadfast support. Your contribution, whether through resources, technical expertise, or solidarity, have enabled Ipoa to remain focused on its constitutional mandate. We look forward to deepening these collaborations as we move to implement this new plan. To our colleagues in government, led by a committee in Parliament, Your continued partnership is indispensable. Oversight flourishes when institutions work together. And your engagement today reaffirms that shared responsibility to our development partners, the civil society, organizations, and the media. We recognize your vital role in shaping discourse, amplifying voices, and holding institutions accountable. You have been strong allies in ensuring that citizen concerns and experiences inform oversight. We also express our appreciation to members of public whose views were central in shaping this strategic plan. Your lived experiences of policing and your aspirations for a more accountable service have given this plan its diversity, relevance, and urgency. Special recognition goes to the Ipoa board and the ad hoc committee on the development of the strategic plan, led by Commissioner Dr. Annette Mbogo. Your dedication, research, and inclusivity in consultations have given Ipoa a clear and forward-looking blueprint. Finally, to the Ipoa Secretariat and staff, thank you for your commitment, often under challenging circumstances. Your professionalism has sustained the authority and laid the foundation for this new phase. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close, let me affirm that this plan is not just a document. It is a call to action. It will succeed only through the collective effort of all of us. Let us live here renewed in our shared resolve to make policing in Kenya professional, transparent, and trusted. With humility and gratitude, I thank each one of you. May we continue to walk this journey together, and may our collective work strengthen justice, accountability, and peace in this country. May God bless Kenya. So I want you to shake a hand of the person seated next to you, na mwambie niko poa na Ipoa. Asanteni sana.
One more clap for our VC. Thank you very much, Madam. As our CEO had announced, we humbly request all our visitors, the VIPs, our chairs, commissioners, kindly, humbly join us here for the photo, together with your copy of the strategic plan for the very final photographs. Thereafter, we'll have the national anthem to close. So kindly, karibuni sana wageni wetu for a photo session. And also while at it, our special gift, some small token for you. Madam Anseta, Madam Mercy, kindly do the honors of coordinating the same. Our commissioners, karibuni chair, together with our special guest, karibuni hapa mbele, feel at stage for the final photos. Yeah? Here. Oh, madam, we won't fit here. There's a request down here. Thank you very much. Hapa mbele tafadhali. Our gifts kindly to come. Then we will close with our national anthem. Then the entertainment. Thank you again, our AP dance band led by Chief Inspector Evans Odhiambo. Makofi kwenu pia. Can we give them a clap also? Let's appreciate them. We are told we must also appreciate our officers and everybody. Thank you. Our photographer, kindly, you are the one to direct how they stand. Kama wametoshea kwa picha, kindly guide them venye you want them to be before you take the final photo. Hand over the plan copies. Meanwhile, Emily Chepchumba, feel entertained, please. Karibuni. Okay, thank you. Let's close with the national anthem. Kindly be upstanding wherever.
Gifts.
Oh, sorry.
The gifts.
1 minute. Must any signal, so I don't know that.
Can we have a photo of the board and management?
A photo, there's a photo for the board, Ipoa board and management. All management team members, kindly come.
Not SMS. Yes, watch it well.
Management. Kujeni mbio sana. Hussein. Who else? Hussein. Nzomo. Anastasia. Esther Kenyanya. Who else? Rashid. All management. Maureen, where are you? Kinoti. Where is Kinoti? Photo, then we do. Please don't go, we have lunch. We have a lot of food and drink. RCs, all the regional coordinators. Regional coordinator wote kujeni hapo mbele. All the RCs. Be upstanding wherever you are, kindly, for the closing national. Yes? Sorry, madam.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so before we conclude with the national anthem, allow us to recognize special guests invited by our chairman, Yashpal Gai. I think is a name who is well associated with our constitution. So kindly let us recognize him for the dedication and work he has been able to do for this country. So once they take the photo, we will do the national anthem and we close. A quick photo.
Okay. Oh, sorry. What? Oh, not yet. Okay. Okay. Quite an awesome moment to have Yashpal with us. Thank you. Asante, asante. Lunch will be served just outside there. You can feel free to pick your food, come back in, eat comfortably, sit, mingle, talk, have a good time. We want to close now with the national anthem. Kindly let's be upstanding for the national anthem. National anthem, band twende kazi. National anthem, wimbo wa taifa. Okay, thank you very much. Lunch will be served. VIPs will be directed accordingly.
Thank you very much. Special gift to Yashpal Guy, who has joined us, and we want to thank him. For the rest of the guests, kindly, if they are still in the house, Honorable Kaluma just stepped. The PS,